Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, absolutely non-league, the show dedicated to everything from the National League North, National League South, and we are in collaboration with the fantastic NL Full-Time. Thank God we are as well, because there's a lot to talk about in this episode. And we were saying off air, I think that's why we're a little bit late. We've just been unpacking everything and making sure we've got everything, like the right information, because there's that much to talk about. Late goals, we've got relegations, we've obviously got playoff places, then we've got managerial sackings. We've just got it all for you tonight. But of course, we could not do this alone. And as much as I love you all, there's one person I'm so happy to see you back. Jen, how are you? How's your Monday been? Football aside, we won't talk about football yet, but how are you?
I'm doing really well. No, it's been a hard couple of months, as you guys know, but we are on the up now. We're getting past it now. So yeah, I'm back. Falcon's been relegated during the process. So yeah, I will know more about the North next year. But for now, I'm just happy to be back.
I love that. And we're happy we've got you back as well. We've really missed you. Really missed you. Right. I better say hello to you guys now, hadn't I? I'm joking. Ben, how are you and how's your Monday been? I mean, we've got a lot to talk about from your end as well, haven't we?
Well, let's think about it. Like, three of us are getting new managers next season. So, that's enough in itself, let alone anything else. But I'm doing all right. Yeah, Monday's been okay. It's just building up now to the winding down towards the end now, aren't we, really? I mean, cup final on Wednesday, last league game potentially on Saturday, who knows? But yeah, I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm not doing well. I feel sick, like it's Monday, and I feel physically sick. I'm going to get onto it a little bit later. And like I said, me and Morgan are kind of trying not to think about it, but it's hard not to think about it when you go on Twitter and now everyone's talking about it. Like literally everyone. Morgan, I will come to you next. How are you feeling? Because I've just got a constant headache and I'm not sleeping at night.
I'm really relaxed. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just like, I will not deal with this. I'm just compartmentalizing. That's in a bit part of my brain that is not being opened until Friday night. And at that point, I will cry myself to sleep out of anxiety, and we'll deal with it then. Monday's been all right. I've had a relatively busy weekend, football side, so I think I'm just keeping myself busy, and I'll see what happens at the weekend. But for now, I'll happily talk about National League North and South all day long compared to the National League, because I've spent the last 9 months thinking about the National League, and I'm ready for it to be over.
Same. Honestly, right, I know it's fantastic that we're doing what we're doing, and as fans, it's mentally draining. So I'm just thinking, as players and as managers and as members of staff, it must be the same, but we will get onto that later. And of course, representing the fantastic NL Full-Time, Rob, how are you and how's your Monday been?
Thank you very much. I'm really well. It's been full on. Mondays are for me. I'm self-employed and it's my busiest day, and I already had to fit in 3 big compartments to the day, and then this one was the 4th one, and I've had to squeeze a 5th one in just before this one because of other news that's breaking as well. So a crazy Monday, not a manic one, a crazy one, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than discussing it with you guys here. I can't ever remember going on a pod where all 5 people had so much going on as we did. 3 managerial changes and 2 literally going into the arena on Saturday to fight it to the death. I mean, to the title, and then the loser goes in the playoffs. So. Right.
Honestly, I know we laugh and joke and say it's free therapy, but I feel like it genuinely is free therapy for all 5 of us today.
Yeah,
100%. Honestly, we've all got each other. And of course, it's not just us. We do have some fantastic people in the chat. A lot of chat as well. So thank you so much to everybody for joining, if my mouse does work. So Chris has put, good evening. Good evening, all. Wow, what a weekend for non-league football this was. Yeah, crazy. All right, everyone. The great escape is done. Sending my love to those that had us relegated when we were in. Hope you're proven wrong by us. Very,
The little
very
kisses on Luke's message there as well. The little bit of sass in his message.
Yeah.
good. But he still put the kisses at the end. What is all? He's also put, cannot make the last game of the season due to some other commitments in the morning, heading off to my local Hebburn town where they could get promoted to National League North if they win. Love that. Oh, I love that. We've got in the chat as well, we have Chalks. He's put Sea Dogs. I'm buzzing for Saturday. If we somehow make the playoffs after everything this year, it would be amazing. We have got our very lovely Graham in the chat as well. He has put good evening, everyone. We've got Grimmy from our Premier League show too. Up the Dale. I know. Oh, I was honestly, I was holding it together. I will come on to that because silly me decided to live stream both games like an idiot and I was nearly crying. But I held it together. Come on, Dale. Anyone but York.
No, to be fair, he's a Scarborough fan. I'll happily take it off Scarborough fans. Like, they're
Right.
our local rival. Like, I'll take it off them. That's fine. They're irrelevant, but they can give it.
Chops is my new favourite. Joking. Steve has put, evening everyone, football is torture. It is. Matt has put, evening all, super close finishes in all three leagues this Saturday. I'm getting a very nervous Sharon Morgan for the Big Dale versus York showdown. No, not nervous at all.
Yeah.
I am. Very, very. We've got Danny as well. Evening, Danny. Hope you're okay. We've got North Sander as well. Evening, all. Hope you're okay too. Got a lot of chat, so thank you everyone for coming in. Saturday was mad, wasn't it? York and Worthing were going up, then they weren't. It was crazy. Why do we all love football so much?
Yeah.
Why do we do it to ourselves? We all need a holiday. Grimmy is
Get me on that beach.
I know, we all need a holiday. But I'll miss it. I'll miss it as soon as it's over. Danny's put, what happened Saturday? I had a nice peaceful day, didn't smash a glass and jump on it by accident celebrating or anything. He came into my chat and to be fair, he did say, I was watching the game, I've smashed a glass, but I will clean it up after the game's ended. Bless him. Welcome all the panellists. Oh, thank you so much. Bear with me, everyone. We've got Sean as well. Gmail started in 2004, Facebook started in 2005, and Twitter started in 2006, meaning no Arsenal fan has emailed, posted or tweeted, we have a Premier League champions. Harsh, Sean, harsh. But yeah, I'm sure you can talk about that in tomorrow's show with Sam. What is going on? You've got full named as well by Graham, Jen. Have you been naughty?
I mean, my mother calls me that.
Jennifer.
When you know you're in trouble.
I know. Glenn has put congratulations to my local non-league side, Bedworth United, on staying up. My eyes are really sore today. My hay fever's playing up, so I do apologise, everyone. Congratulations as well to Coventry on their promotion. Lucas put, I hope you're all right, Jen, about your relegation. No. Absolutely gutted for you and Liam. You will come back stronger.
No, I'm not okay.
We've got no.
Dying inside.
We've got Merritt, he's put evening all. We've got our wonderful Joe as well. Evening all, we'll be listening along tonight while finishing recruitment pieces. 58 and 59 for my blog. An action-packed one tonight. Lots to dissect. Great to see Jen back. And love the shirt, Ben. Yeah, Sean, you do get free therapy. To be fair, all of these shows are free therapy. You always feel better after them, don't you? Always feel better. We recovered during the summer, wondering who our team will sign and listening to TMS in the garden. Love that. We've got as well, Rob, you got massive praise for your comms against Southend, for your knowledge of our players, fans forum and Shrimpers podcast. Bigged you up big time. Big comms of the season.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated.
We've got to talk some football though now, everyone. And we're going to start up north. Oh, best comms of the season. Love that. We are going to start in the north. So, Who wants to start us off? Raise your hand, whoever wants to start us off. Like
Go
it's
on then,
school. Go on, Morgan. Go on, lad.
Two things. One, I know there is a Scarborough fan in the chat, so I just want to give them a bit of credit because they're flown up the table. Scarborough now 5th. I know there's still a lot to play for on the last day. They can finish outside the playoffs. They can make it in with them currently sat 5th. But one loss going back to they lost on the 11th of April. And their last loss before that was the 24th of Feb. So they've been on a really, really good run. And with everything that's gone on recently or this season with having to play elsewhere and all of that, I think they've done a really good job at being able to bring it all together at the end of the year. They've beaten Darlington, Spennymoor and Merthyr in the last few weeks, all of which are always in and around the playoffs. Spennymoor 10th currently, Darlow 9th, Merthyr 8th. They've beaten all of them to leapfrog them all and get themselves into that playoff spot. And I think everyone at Scarborough deserves a lot of credit because of everything they've dealt with. Yeah, I just think they've done really, really well this year. This weekend, if we can just find it. Rio Allen getting another goal. What's he up to now? I just saw that number. He's having quite a good season. Yeah, he's just got his 10th of the season this weekend. So it's clicked at the right time for Scarborough. It's not obviously done yet with a lot to play for on the last day with National League North playoffs always being chaos and you don't know what's going to happen and then the playoffs can be a bit of a lottery. But I think Scarborough do deserve a lot of credit of where they've got themselves to at this point in the season.
Who wants to go next?
I can go next. I mean, I think the obvious one is probably the one right at the bottom of the page. Workshop 8, possibly. You've got to pick something different, haven't we? Can't keep talking about the top all the time. Who cares?
Exactly.
What I say is, having looked, I think they played with 10 men for quite a long time before they got another man sent off. By that point, it was already 8-0. They had half an hour still to play. I'm almost thinking to myself, what will Worksop doing for the last half an hour? Because, with 9 men, I'd be wanting double figures. So,
yeah.
I'd probably be walking off a little bit disappointed. But, what a bad end to the season, though, for Peterborough. I mean, I knew they were going to struggle this year. I just thought that their rise, over the last sort of, 4 or 5 years, it was going to catch up on them and that Phil Brown's tried to do the best he can with, the limited resources he's got. But you always, if you go down, you want to go down with a bit of pride. And obviously that sort of went out the window very quickly. And, they've got to try and give their supporters, a performance to give them some bit of encouragement, albeit it's against Hereford, who are going to need a win most likely now, having been really slipping into now that battle, the games in hand they had, which has obviously now backfired them a little bit. But no, for Worksop, we said, I think last week, they've had a fantastic season, at this level. And, their rise will be in trying to get to that 60-point mark, which, be a great return for them. But yeah, no, I think that's got to be the result of the day, albeit, there's some big results in there in terms of actually meaning something for teams near the top and obviously around the bottom. But obviously, look, you can't knock an 8-0 win, put it that way.
Just really quickly as well, because I know you did mention, obviously, Morgan Scarborough. So we do have Chalks in the chat, and he has put, last time Scarborough won the playoffs out of the Northern Premier League, it was the year York got promoted from National League North. Could we both get promoted again? No. Possibly through the playoffs, I'm hoping for York. No. Chill the dog, don't I?
So what about little old Bedford Town? Birchie's Bedford. They got another point. They're up to 52. They're still not mathematically safe, which is crazy.
Got this as
well. But what? Oh yeah, we can't wait to talk about that one.
What story?
That was the other thing I wanted to mention about this one. But let's give Bedford credit for another brilliant point. But what a crazy week at the top of the National League North. It finally swung back towards South Shields in the week. They played Macclesfield and they beat them 4-1. And not only points-wise, but with goal difference, that was enough of a swing to take them top above of AFC Fylde. And then another complete turnaround at the weekend, AFC Fylde winning 4-0 against Southport, whilst South Shields were held by Bedford. And South Shields actually only got a point in added time I think it was Man, wasn't it? Yeah, 90 plus 3 after George Munker's goal had put Bedford ahead on the hour mark. So huge point for Bedford. A big punch in the face for South Shields. They will have had that down as a banker of a home win. Yes, massively now advantage Fylde, isn't it? Going into the final day.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. I'm just going to quickly, Jen, I'll come to you actually before I read out Chris's match report. So is there any on here that you do want to talk about?
I have to give a mention to Alfreton Town. They are fighting until the death. They are not massively safe. They're still in there, but they're giving themselves a chance on the final day. And as a football fan, that's all you want. If your team goes down, you want them to go down with a fight. You don't want them to give up. So for them to be taking it to the last game of the season, I think is incredible. And whatever happens will happen. But for them to win and win it in the 90th minute as well, we all know them late goals. Just saying. But yeah, I think for them, they've given themselves a chance, and I think that's the biggest thing. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting end to the season. Honestly, I'm excited for Saturday because I've got nothing to watch. Markham are already relegated, so I will be watching Markham and York. So not Markham and York, Rochdale and York.
Yes.
So, yeah, I kind of wish it was
in your dreams, Jen. Yeah,
it is what it is. We're going down. We knew it was happening. But yeah, I think if we could have moved the Rochdale York game, I think it would have been better. But
just really quickly on that game as well, Jen, and we do have Matt in the chat, and he's put, I rhymed, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. A very late salmon winner though gave Alfreton a deserved win to send their Hawaiian shorty fans into raptures and the chances of avoiding the drop. Have I missed some of his match report? I have. So the beginning of that was Alfreton at home. Marine should have been 3-0 up at half-time, but went in only 1-0 up. 2 goals put Alfreton into the lead before Marine equalised in 85 minutes. And then obviously you did mention before about that. I love last away game of the season though when fans dress up.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite. I love seeing all of the different ones. I think it's great. Just going back to the chat as well. Sorry, I do have quite a lot. I'm going to leave. If anybody's comments haven't come up yet, I know there's a lot of York chat in there. Do not worry. I will put your comments up, but I will do it when we're closer to the National League and we're on that bit. So don't think I'm ignoring you. Just really quickly as well, Merritt has put, what away days, Jen, are you looking forward to out of National League North?
0. You having a laugh?
She's not. She said she's not over it yet.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. I'm not even looked at who's there next year. I think me and my friends are talking after the Rochdale game. Sorry about that.
I know, Jen.
Sorry. But I think after the Rochdale game, we were talking about doing Scarborough away. That's a big one we want to do. But other than that, no. Just happy. Liam's not going to have 20 million overnight stays. So, positives somewhere.
Southport's pretty close as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I used to love going Southport as a kid.
I think it'd be great to do it as like a weekend. Go to the game, then go out afterwards. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. But as for that one,
I know Merritt.
Done.
We've got Sam in the chat as well, and he's put salmon winner. Funny enough, I just finished my salmon dinner. Hi, Sam. Hope you're okay. We've got as well. Go on, sorry,
I was going to
Morgan.
say, yes, Chris just mentioned it. Alfreton, they've
This
gone
one.
6 unbeaten, and then they play Curzon on the last day of the season. And so it literally comes down to that. There's 2 points separating them. Alfreton have given themselves a shot. All they have to do is beat the team directly above them. They can also leapfrog Kings Lynn, who are 5 without a win, and Kings Lynn play Kidderminster, who are also still in playoff fight. So I know there's a lot of kind of, what's going to happen at the top of all 3 leagues, and especially all the eyes are going to be on the York Rochdale game and non-league. But that Alfreton Curzon game is massive for both clubs because it is a straight shootout. If Alfreton win that, they stay up. if Curzon get something out of it, they stay up. Kings Lynn can still go down if things fall badly in their favour. Their goal difference is 13 better than 13? No, can't do maths. It's a lot better than Curzon's. It's -8 compared to -21. So Kings Lynn might just be safe on goal difference by the end of it. But that Alfred and Curzon game on the last day of the season, I think, is being slightly overlooked because Curzon have got one win in. They got a win on the 11th of April. The last one before that was the 21st of Feb. So they've been really struggling. Alfred are unbeaten in the last 6, and they've got momentum. And all they have to do is beat a Curzon team on the last day of the season, and they can stay up. And I know Alfred like a great escape, and they like upsetting people. I know they've done it against teams that they shouldn't beat, and beating some of the bigger teams that fall in International League North. So I'd probably back Alfred to do it. But yeah, I think that's an overlooked last day of the season shootout that people aren't talking about.
I completely agree with that. I think there's a lot, isn't there, in the North and the South? But obviously, we'll get onto it later. But with that title decider in the National League, not a lot of people are really talking about the other leagues, and there's still a lot to decide. Still a hell of a lot.
We look at that, so Chris just mentioned it as well. So I was going to mention, obviously, Hereford have got Marine tomorrow, which, again, a win for Hereford would put Curzon Ashton into that bottom 4. So it would really be, I mean, even then, you can win and, you still have to rely on one of those teams slipping up, which, when you're in a relegation battle, the likelihood is one of them are going to slip up. So I think I'm with Morgan, the fact that it probably will be a straight shootout, regardless of what happens tomorrow with Hereford Marine. But again, Hereford, last day of the season, they've got Peterborough Sports. And, again, I think they're at home as well for it. So, on paper for it, Peterborough, I've obviously got to find something, to give their supporters a little bit of hope for next year. But Hereford are going to be turning up with all guns blazing, regardless of if they get 3 points in Marine tomorrow. So, but I think if you're a betting man, I think just because of how much Curzon have slipped right down, I would probably back at Alfreton maybe to stay up. I just think Curzon have maybe run out of steam a little bit because they were well away from it for a while, and then they've been pulled back into after some really poor form. So, I think we might be looking at Alfreton, but you never know. It's a one-off game, isn't it? They'll treat it like a final. I think you have to. So it could be the biggest difference between them staying up and not staying up.
No, I completely agree. Just this as well, this point. Bear with me. I've completely lost it now. What a shock. What a shock. Here. Chalks has put, does anybody else think that all 3 leagues, obviously National League North and National League South, all kicking off at the same time on Saturday sucks? Could have spread them out over the weekend, giving each league the attention it deserves. I completely agree with that.
Because I want to be watching the Rochdale York game. That's the thing. But obviously, our game's still got something to play on. So, if I weren't to be interested in that, I'd be like, I'm staying home and watch Rochdale. But
we could have had watch-alongs, couldn't we?
Yeah. I think.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, it's difficult, obviously, on a weekend like this because, you'd probably say if it was a bank holiday weekend, split it on the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But it's difficult where, maybe you put 12:30 kickoffs for, I don't know, the South, 3 for the North, and then Sunday you have like the National League. A bit like what they do in the Premier League. Premier League always seems to finish on a Sunday, doesn't it? So I think that would have been a good idea. But all I'm disappointed about is I'm going to have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning for a trip to Bath. So I don't know about everyone else and the places they have to go to. So yeah, 12:30 does suck, I will be honest.
To be fair, there are worse cities in the country to go to. Like Bath is meant to be really, really nice a place. Like there's worse places to be at 12:30 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Ben wishes he was in his bath watching Dale game.
Just watching Shard, with no nails left. And Morgan storming the pitch.
Yeah. Rob, did you want to touch on this or anything, by the way? Sorry.
Well, I was holding off in the end because it's probably more connected to the Rochdale York game. But I just think generally it was a really good discussion point. A little bit on our pod at the weekend, and then also on the spaces we did last night with Luke Walsh, and largely everyone was going, let's get that Rochdale York game moved to a later kickoff time so we can all enjoy it. And then somebody came on and made 2 or 3 really good points as to why it shouldn't be moved. So just to say, really, it's a good discussion point. And I think you're right, Ben. I think over a bank holiday weekend, it would have perhaps lent itself more to staggering all the fixtures. But it is a shame. We got to remember that a lot of people are only focused on their own club. We're not. We're all, one thing that links us is we're all massively interested in all the other stuff that's going on around, you know. So not everybody is, and some people will be gutted that they can't, you know, watch some of the other games.
No. Do I sound northern then? Do I? Am I not?
Picking up.
We've changed you.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm at the other end of the country and supporting Maidstone United. So no Southport here. I can tell you that.
I think we all enjoy weekend up there, though, don't we? It's great.
You love it.
Everybody likes Southport.
I love it, honestly. Raya's put as well, Telford versus Darlington needs to be spoken about. 2 missed penalties and a last-minute goal.
Yeah, the Darlington manager, Steve Watson, was absolutely enraged, I think, because it dropped Darlington out of the playoff places, basically. Well, that equaliser for Telford didn't do a lot for Telford. You know, they went into the game with a really, really small mathematical chance, Dickie said, of still making them. And obviously they were pleased to get to nick a draw at the end. But, yeah, absolutely crazy with the 2 missed penalties as well. And for Darlington, it could really hurt them. They're going to be... their fans are going to be biting their nails down to their elbows on their last game.
They've had a really rough run of it as well, Darlington. One in the last 6, losing to Kidderminster, Fylde, Scarborough and Marine, who, all right, Marine are more mid-table, but they've lost to 3 playoff teams in the last few weeks. Like, I was thinking Darlow are going to finish about 5th, and with the experience, you'd think them do well, or think they'd do well in the playoffs, but really rough running, and that last-minute goal is going to really hurt.
And I don't think we probably made enough of it with Marine, really. But you know, really, their wonderful FA Trophy run probably has cost them the chance of promotion this season, because they've ended up with too many games to play in too short a time, haven't they? And look, there we go. Perfect timing. Very happy that Bobby Grant has signed a 2-year contract to stay at the Mariners. Big news for the club. Love that, don't you, Shah?
I do, Jen. When Markham play Marine, I'll come with you to go and see Bobby.
Okay, that's fine with me. That's fine.
It's a deal.
You go in one of the houses to watch it then, right next to the dugouts.
Yeah. Definitely. We do have obviously Chris's report as well for Macclesfield game. So Macclesfield away. So Spennymoor did win 2-0, and he has put Macclesfield away, what a difference a week makes. Outplayed the Silkmen all game, limited their chances to long shots, and came away with a clean sheet. Corey McKeown on the 5th minute, and a thunderous goal from Rob Ramshaw sealed a massive win. That's another name that we see pop up quite a lot, isn't it, for Spennymoor, Rob Ramshaw? And he's also put as well, this really, I want to know what you went as, Chris. Spennymoor fans dressed as superheroes at the Macclesfield game. I hope you didn't let us down, and if you have got a picture, we want to see pictures. I love a good superhero. I think it's because I'm such a Marvel fan, so I do love a good superhero. I know it's not really the podcast for it, but I thought I'd just let you all know. Get to know me a little bit more. As well, he has put Spenny versus Darlow stat. Spennymoor have finished higher in every single season since 2017-18 season. Ooh, have we got any more chat on here? Does anybody want to talk about anything else? Just really quickly, though, Matt has put that's some turnaround for Chester, considering where they were a couple of months ago. Doing really well, aren't they, at the minute, Chester? Because I completely agree. I was quite worried for them, to be honest, at one point.
Yeah, they're the informed team at the moment. They've won their last 5 games, and you know we have been saying it for the last couple of weeks that they've probably been the team to watch out for. I think you're talking about probably a couple of months ago, sort of hanging around mid-table, weren't doing much, and you know sort of felt like their season was going to come to an early end. But look, they've stuck in there, and you know for a club obviously with. You know, people obviously will look at the name and thinking, they probably have a very good budget. I dare say with, obviously being a supporters-run club, it probably isn't the same budgets, in comparison to your South Shields and AFC Fylde. But, if they do manage to secure a top 7 spot, then, that's a fantastic achievement for them because, and obviously particularly as well, the fact they'll probably want to put right last year's obviously disappointment in the final against Scunthorpe. So they want to probably have a sign of redemption. But no, absolute credit to them because for staying in there. And that just shows if you get into some good form, even towards the business end, it's never out of the question. So they've just got to make sure they do their job on Saturday, which is against, I'm pretty sure, it's Kings Lynn Town, obviously, but fighting for their lives. So both a lot on the line for both sides, and I dare say both sides are going out to attack to win the game rather than try not to lose it, I would say.
Chester as well. They've conceded twice in those 5 wins, like 5 games, 2 goals conceded. It's like they've really been keeping the goals out as well. So they're not just kind of battering teams at one end. They are they've put themselves up at the back. And the last loss, they conceded twice in the 90th minute to Southport, lost that game. And since then, they've just fully shot it up. And yeah, they're looking dangerous now. I wouldn't want to be playing them in the playoffs.
Just this from Matt as well. He said that obviously there is some dangerous teams. Whoever does miss out on a title out of Fylde and South Shields, they do have a lot of dangerous teams there that obviously will be up for it, won't they, in the playoffs? So I completely agree.
No one likes a dangerous flow.
That's why I didn't say it.
That's why I did.
That tickled me. That's why I thought I can't be saying that because especially in my accent, it'll be terrible.
Sorry, I ruined your subtitle.
No, don't worry. I'm just glad you said it and not me. But Chris is right as well. Relegation goes down to the final games as well as the playoff playoff race. That's really cracked me up. I'm sorry. I'm so childish. So childish. Does anybody else have anything to add on National League North while we are on?
I think we'd be irresponsible, I think, to not mention the title race, considering that both Fylde and South Shields have got very tricky away trips on the last day of the season. With South Shields going to Kidderminster Harriers, who have already got a playoff place secured and already got 3rd place secured. So again, they'll want to spoil, again, what could be a party at their own in their own gaff. And then Fylde have got to go to Merthyr, and obviously Merthyr are, still chasing that top 7 that they've been in around pretty much all season. And I've just actually had a look. I didn't realise how crazy of a season it's been. I mean, it's not. I mean, we always said with Robert, it's never dull watching Aldershot. It's definitely not dull been watching Merthyr this year. 93 goals they've scored and 82 they've conceded. It's absolutely crazy. So I wouldn't be a betting man to know how that's going to go, but. All Fylde, obviously will need to think is that they can't afford really, I think, for me to even draw the game because all it takes is South Shields to get, a couple of goals and it swing their way. Like I say, it could all change. Like South Shields might take the shackles off and put 3 past, Kidderminster. You just don't know because they might be having their mindset on the playoff semi-final and they can probably rest a couple of players. But again, that's still a week away for them. So it is a hard one, but I mean, what we sort of all thinking, would we say, where our, allegiances are aligning at the moment with who's going to nick it?
Well, I think it's going to take a real shift for Fylde not to win it now. And listen. Yeah. It's just for where I'm based. It's a long way, and I've been there so many times. So I'm not really fussed for Fylde coming up again. That's got nothing to do with whether they deserve to be there or not. I kind of wanted. I was rooting a little bit for South Shields. It's straight up from me where I live, and I've never been there, and I do hope that they get up. But yeah, it's going to take a lot. They've got probably the toughest game they could have, unless they were playing Fylde, haven't they? Yeah. I mean. At least if they were playing Fylde, they'd know if they won it, they'd win the title, but they're not. They're away to the 3rd place team in Kidderminster. Kidderminster may well want to play their own part in making sure that Fylde are not involved in the playoffs. Yeah. And the best way to do that is to take a point or 3 off of South Shields.
And with Fylde as well. Yeah. I genuinely think Fylde will go up.
Yeah, I think I've been with South Shields for quite a long time this season. I've sort of stuck by it, but I just feel like with the fixtures that it's aligned to, I do just feel that it's going to take quite a bit for Fylde not to do it. I mean, that's what I sort of said. I think South Shields would probably have to put 2 or 3, at least past Kidderminster, because given the fact that they'd have the same goal difference, but obviously Fylde have scored more goals, which is absolutely
definitely Fylde now.
Sure. I mean, I'm not a Mars bar person. Like, give me a Yorkie, I'll be happy with that. Then I would.
I love a Yorkie. I love the biscuit and raisin Yorkie me. That's my favourite.
Can we just get that bit clipped? I love a Yorkie, just Shah. I love a Yorkie. Can I have that on every social media page for the next week?
Chocolate bar. No. Everyone will come for me, please.
You're right, like Morgan. It's called Yorkie, is it?
Yeah.
Morgan.
I don't know. Even Dale fans have seen this. No.
I promise I wasn't clickbaiting you. I swear, Shah. I didn't even think of that.
Exactly. What is one of them? Don't do this to me, everyone. Morgan's definitely clipping this now. Shouting me in front of everyone.
For those that work on the Absolute Football Podcast social media team, can you please clip that up and post it everywhere?
Ben, Jen, really? JCB, are you gonna do this to the C and JCB?
It could be the biggest breakup since One Direction, really. So I don't know.
No comment. Exactly. No comment.
We let you have 3 points, Jen. I'm joking. You absolutely battered us. Yeah, exactly. They're not for girls anyway. So no, I don't like Yorkies. Don't like them. Changed my mind.
That bit's not getting clipped.
It's not getting clipped. Do you know what? It can get clipped. I'll own it.
Thanks.
I'll do it if you lot win the league, Shaft. I'll do it if you lot win the league because it won't matter as much then, will it?
Exactly. But just don't do it if we get battered.
You need to do it tonight, and that needs sharing for the next week.
What you paying me, a Mars bar?
I'll pay you in whatever you need.
Okay, give us Ben Brooks back. I'll have that.
Okay, maybe not.
Has anybody else got anything they want to add?
No, pretty much there.
Oh, I've completely lost my train of thought now. Oh man! So we do have the National League North table. I can't get my words out now. I'm panicking. I'm sweating. We do have the National League North table. Top of the table, we do have AFC Fylde on 97 points. South Shields are second on 95 points. Kidderminster are third on 84 points. Macclesfield, they are fourth on 76 points. Scarborough are fifth on 72 points. Chester are sixth on 72 points. Buxton are seventh on 70 points. And in the relegation zone, we do have Alfreton, who are 21st on 49 points. Don't make me laugh, Morgan. It's just come up on my phone. Hereford are 22nd on 48 points. And we do have 2 relegated teams. 23rd, Peterborough Sports on 38 points. And Leamington, bottom of the National League North, again relegated on 29 points. Right, Ben, I'm going to leave you with this one for a minute. I'm going to let you lead the segment and feel free to remove Morgan too by the time I get back.
Well,
Just going grabbing a drink of water.
Of course. I mean, where's the best place to start, really? Because the thing is, because obviously at the bottom of the National League South, it's all pretty much sorted. I mean, it is virtually down to the top 9. But Morgan, is there any standouts for you from National League South over the weekend?
Probably the Enfield one, just because we were saying just before we went live, obviously change of manager, and it was announced that the Enfield manager is leaving at the end of the season, isn't he? He's going to, So they are playing for a bit of pride now. They are relegated, but they are playing with a bit of pride. And then just to go out in the way they have, because they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without a win going into this game against a Slough team who were Slough. Slough are pretty safe. They're 17th. They've had their issues this year. They had their fun in the FA Cup as well. Slough are pretty safe. So Enfield going into this kind of had nothing to lose, and they then score 3 times in the 80th minute to win it 3-2. Win it 5-2, which I think it's just mental to be able to score in the 90th, 95th, and 98th minute to win a game that was pretty much dead rubber. And yeah, that's just really, really impressive. I know Slough won't be happy about losing like that, but luckily it doesn't mean anything, because if that happened at the top end of the table where there's so much to fight for, I think heads would have been on Mars if that happens.
They've leaked a lot of goals as well. I'm pretty sure it's 14 goals they've conceded in the last 3 games now, which I'm sure it's a difficult one for Scott Davis because, like I said, they've been safe for for a few weeks now, and probably their players are probably on the beach now. I know they've had issues with injuries and and everything like that, but I mean they're right. The only team who've got worse form at the moment is Dover Athletic. I mean, so they probably do just want the season over and done with. I'm sure Steve does, to be honest with you.
I think it's noticeable that they conceded the rest of those goals late on, because I know in the last 2 or 3 weeks they've had a lot of youngsters, a lot of academy players on the bench. They just haven't got the depth now, whether it's the ones that are injured and out for the rest of the season, whether it's the ones that they've had to let go. I mean, literally, Victor Mikowski scored the goals that kept Slough up, and now he's scoring the goals that probably take Worthing to the title, isn't he? So, yeah, I know we're all guilty of using that term on the beach. I've used it. You used it. I guess if you were a player in one of those teams, you'd hate to hear it, because you're probably still given absolutely everything that you've got. But sometimes, you can run out of steam, can't you? And a bit like my own side, Slough did their work in that third quarter of the season when they really needed to, and they really pulled clear. So, fair play to them.
Yeah, personally, Steve, I think in the chat, I would say you need to sack Scott Davis right now, because, look, he's in some bad form. I know there's teams in the league that might need a new manager, just saying. So if you want to let go of him, I'd be quite happy with that. So I'm only joking, by the way. Rob, is there any standouts for you from the National League South?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hornchurch. They had the perfect set of results. I keep in touch a little bit with Josh Rees, and we were messaging on Saturday morning, really, I think it was, and we agreed, it would take a bizarre set of results for Hornchurch to still win it. But the first stage of those bizarre set of results have now happened, and they beat Chippenham by 3-1. A couple of goals for Angelo Belanta, who's really hit his stride in the last month or so, as has Josh himself. So they got the job done away at Chippenham, and as no doubt we'll come on to discuss, other teams right up there with them didn't get wins, did they? Weston drew, Dorking and Worthing lost, and Hornchurch now have a realistic chance on the last day, because Worthing obviously have a tough fixture. And the title race that a week ago, as we sat here, involved 5 teams, realistically now, not mathematically, but realistically, only involves 2.
It is absolutely crazy. I mean, the crazy thing about the league is the fact that obviously the top 9, have all still got something to play for, because the fact that Dorking, who is sitting 3rd right now, could slip outside of the playoffs, is a crazy, discussion to be having, really. I mean, again, I think that's probably one of the results we probably think, are they really starting to slip? I mean, sure, Dorking 1, Bath City 3. Dorking, I think that's 4 losses in a row for them now. Is Mark Whiteside starting to slip out of the promotion race, or do you think they'll come good if they can limp into those playoffs?
I'm really not sure. I obviously don't want them to, because obviously we're massive fans, aren't we, of Dorking and what Mark does, but it's not looking good at the minute. They've hit a really bad patch at the worst time. It's never obviously good to go on a bad run, but it's definitely not when you're trying to obviously get playoffs and things. But I think they'll do it. I do think they'll do okay, and I think Mark is the right guy to kind of get them back on track again. The only problem is, I know we've discussed it, haven't we? I think it was last week, the injuries and stuff. That's obviously taken its toll on them recently. So yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it, for them?
And if anyone can find a way, sorry, Ben, I was just going to say quickly, if anyone can find a way to pull off a Houdini act here, it would be Mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 4 defeats on the trot, and I'm pretty confident in saying that around about the hour mark in all 4 games, they were level or ahead. And they just don't have the finishes there on the bench. They just don't have them. They haven't got the depth right now. They're shorn of defenders.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds a bit boring, a bit tedious to say it, but I don't think that the finishers, the substitutes in football, have ever been more important and more effective than they are now. Now that there's 5, a maximum can come on. That's nearly half a team. And when you've got a team of whatever level of quality that can bring 4 or 5 players on fresh legs, maybe that don't necessarily even weaken that team technically, then that's a big advantage, and that's where they're missing out. They've been competitive. I think I heard Mark say that they had 30 shots or more on Saturday. It's just not happening for them as well. They knew they had to go all out for the win because they were worried about letting in one or two at the other end. But it's not working out for them. They're in a bizarre situation. They lose at Weston and other results go against them. They could technically finish outside the playoffs. But if they win at Weston, they are in control of their own destiny. If they win at Weston, they finish in the top 3 and they have a home semi-final. And I know Mark would snap your hand off for that right now.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's always made it clear when he's been in this league is the key is to get a home playoff semi-final. And I totally get that. When you get a big crowd down at Meadowbank on their pitch, albeit I know it's not the greatest 3U pitch and we talk about it a lot, but he will make it difficult for teams. And they've always been hard to beat at home, albeit I know the last few home games, it's all gone a bit wrong for them against sort of the top sides. I mean, it's crazy to think that, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were in a position where, it was sort of in their control. And now, they've really just slipped away from it. And, it is sad because, I think at one point we were all going Dorking to win it. 100% they'll get the job done. I think we were all adamant on it. And then it's just shift the pattern again. It's been absolutely crazy. So, I must say, I do feel for them a little bit. I just hope that doesn't give Bath though the lift up that they need against us. So that's really what I can say on that. Really, just looking inside, the playoffs as well. Torquay won, Hemel Hempstead 2, a huge win. And to be honest, one I probably didn't expect from Hemel Hempstead. To be fair, I thought that might be the one. Will they slip up at this key stage? But Joe has put his match report in. I'm pretty sure if it's come up. Worst home display of the year, barring only the Chelmsford debacle. Hemel were better than us in every measure. Outplayed, outbattled, outfought, outrun. Awfully second best. And Hemel wanted it more than us, or at least showed they did. A team full of running. Allison masterclass. Yehete, the only player to score a winner and do the double over us at Plainmoor in 2 years. I mean, I said it when they came to us a few months ago that they probably were one of the most well-organised sides in the division. Defensively, they are so hard to break down. They are, got as well a good keeper, Michael Johnson behind them, which, is a massive help. But, that this is the thing. We did our part of keeping, teams out, in the title race, and they didn't do their end of the bargain and win. But, that would have been a real sickener for Torquay, wouldn't it? Given the fact that they could have, had the same scenario that Hornchurch have got. It could have been a realistic chance of going up, but looks like they're going to have to start looking potentially just securing that playoff place now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Tell us about yours then. It was a big game, Ben, wasn't it? Home to Worthing. Worthing could have won the title if they'd won. And you had some more.
They was.
And you've had some more news as well.
Let's start with the game first. I think. I think it was a free hit for us, but in terms of the fact that it felt like a big game, we, Worthing packed out our town end with 600 of their supporters who, the vast majority of them were absolutely fantastic, got right behind their team. Unfortunately, a couple of them ruined it at the end with throwing, 2 flares, one during the game and one at one of our players, right at the end, which again is not on, but hopefully the authorities deal with that one. But look, it was again, that there was no room for error for us. We had to win that game. There was no, we can draw, we can probably sneak in the last day. We had to win the game. And after sort of near quarter of an hour, it obviously went wrong. Victor Mikowski, we were just talking about, scored a lot of goals to keep, Slough probably in the National League South, is now doing the business for Worthing. And what a player he is. I've always been a big fan. Every time I see his name on the team sheet, whether it was for Slough or even the times he's played for Worthing, you're going to have a tough afternoon in the back line. Took his goal really well, actually, as well. Good work from Razak Coleman de Graaf, one of our ex-players from a couple of years ago. Showed what, we sort of let go, really. And then, you're sort of chasing the game a little bit again. But look, I said all afternoon, even from the moment I turned up to the stadium, I thought, I'm quietly confident because we always turn up in these sort of games. We've had massive games at the Gallagher over the years, and the bigger the occasion, the more we rise up to it. And that's always one thing that not just George's sides, have built themselves on, but previous managers have built themselves on.
Yeah.
And I think the trouble is it's cost us, when we've gone to, your Eastbournes and Chippenhams where we have to really roll our sleeves up and we didn't. So, that's obviously been the difference of why we're probably not where Worthing are in the league. But we're going to get ourselves back on level terms. TJ Bramble, who got manager's player of the season, not long after the game, nipping in from a corner, to get the equaliser, which again probably we didn't really create too much in that opening stage. It was probably come as a bit of a surprise. And then we had a go. To be fair, it was a cracking game, for the National League South, I think, as a whole. Both teams went properly at it, to get 3 points. Very different to our game at Horsham last week, where both teams almost set up not to lose. So, it was a bit refreshing. And then you get the second half, and we knew Worthing would have, plenty of spells going towards their fans, needing just that one goal. I mean, even at 1-1, they were still winning the title at this point, even mathematically confirmed. And then, big moment comes where Riley Court's free kick just on the edge of the box deflects off Hamza Karkbo. Probably one of the most fortunate goals we've had this season. But you've got, when your luck's in, your luck's in. So, getting put us 2-1 ahead. And sort of just over 20 minutes to go, you thought, right, okay, let's, do what we do best and make it hard for them to break us down. But then again, as good as we were defensively, we had Lenny Holden, our goalkeeper, to thank us for getting 3 points, made 3 outstanding saves, 1 from De Graft and 2 from the top goal scorer, Brad Dollahan, with, 2 one-on-one saves, spread himself so well. For a young kid, I think he's only 19 years old, what an impression he's had on this team, coming in. He always came in always to be the second choice. He's picked Nathan Harness in recent weeks after his concussion and now has pulled it back, and he's been, key to us at the back. And, that Worthing threw absolutely everything at it. They are a quality side, and look, even though we've beaten them, I still expect them to go on and win the league, personally. So, it's, it goes down to the last day of the season. I'm just happy we stopped their promotion party and they didn't have to invade the pitch. But look, it's kept us just about in the race it has. And the one thing that we have got in our favour going into Saturday is that we've got the goal difference advantage, and we've probably got the most favourable fixture on paper. Worthing and Hornchurch, we need both of them to win. Worthing obviously playing Ebbsfleet at home to win the league. Hornchurch playing Maidenhead at home to win the league. If we go and beat Bath and those two win, we're in the playoffs. And I'm not holding much hope on Western getting a victory Dawkins get a victory at Western. But again, if that result comes to us, then we'll certainly take it. So I think it's a realistic chance. And albeit it's 3 points, it seems a lot, going into the last day, it's still a realistic chance. Bearing in mind there's 5 teams fighting for 3 playoff places, so 2 are going to be left disappointed. I just hope it'd be so peak us though to go and win, against league leaders and then lose to Bath 2 or 3-0. So, it's going to be a tough game. And Scott Butler's galvanised that side again, and they'll want to, finish our season off. So I'm not expecting it to be, a rollover completely. So, but yeah, that's where we stand with that. So it's a huge win for us.
Well done, Ben.
Just in the chat as well, we've got good evening from West Sussex, everyone. Dreading the thought of blowing 2 chances to win National League South and then losing in the playoffs. Roll on Ebbsfleet on Saturday.
I beg you, beat them, please. And that'd be the best thing as well if we can beat Pitt then to a playoff spot as well, bearing in mind the amount of money they spend. But look, whatever happens, and we'll give. I'm sure the boys will give it their best shot. And George said, he's giving us a chance. Look, it's a small chance, but it's giving us a chance, of making the playoffs. It's not an unrealistic one, but we will need things to go away. So, no, we're pleased about
that. Graham's very happy with the thought of that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to be honest, Ben. If no Kent team goes pro, whether that's you or Ebbsfleet, next year could be chaos because Folkestone got promoted, didn't they? So what is there a chance that there could be 5 Kent teams next year with Dover, Maidstone, Ebbsfleet, Folkestone and Tonbridge?
Yeah,
that could be absolute carnage. I don't know how the National League will do the fixtures for that because they're going to have to do Christmas or Boxing Day, New Year's, Easter twice. There's a bank holiday in August as well. I don't know how they're going to do those fixtures, but that could be absolute carnage.
I mean, usually we'd go to, Dover normally on like sort of the Boxing Day, New Day games because, even though we're not, they're not our closest rivals, we're their closest rivals. So, but obviously now with Folkestone coming up, I fully expect now to be Boxing Day, Folkestone, Dover, which has always sprung up a few surprises along the way. And I dare say they'll send us down to Tunbridge, bear in mind they're just up the road from us. So obviously one Kent team will have to sort of miss out, but also I'm sure they will send Ebbsfleet to one of the Essex teams, whether that be a Chelmsford, possibly Aveley if they come up as well. So yeah, like it will certainly be carnage, and that's one I don't want to be involved next season if possible. So if we can make the players and go off, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Did we read out Steve's match report on Slough?
No, we haven't.
No, that's fine. I will get to that. I might need your help though, Ben, because I've started to get a migraine. That's where I went before to take some tablets. So the light's really hurting my eyes on this. So I do apologise.
Conceded 3 in injury time. Scotty called it a disgrace, but I'd call it criminal. A good lawyer could get these players locked up for fraud. I can take losing. I support Slough every week. But the lack of effort is can't tolerate. I get that we have nothing to play for, but at least play for personal pride. We need a big rebuild in the summer. A lot of these players aren't good enough. The only thing that will make this month a good month is Maidenhead missing out of the playoffs. Yeah, I agree with that, Steve. I'm with you on that one.
We had this comment as well from Luke, what did make me laugh. If Hornchurch go up, Athletics track Derby for us next season. That did make me laugh. I do apologise as well, by the way, everyone. Like I said, I'm getting a migraine. I can see the dots in my eyes. That's why I had to run off. So apologies with the screen if I put things up that shouldn't be. I don't know if you touched on this as well, but Sean has put obviously in the chat, Chelmsford have signed Mark Cooper as their new manager as of 6 p.m. I wasn't sure if anyone touched on that.
No, and also in the 24 hours before that, John Still confirmed. I think that was one of the worst kept secrets, isn't it, when he left Dagenham? But yeah, John Still in at the top, and now Mark Cooper. It's an interesting one. I know Joe's not with us tonight. Joe speaks quite highly of Mark Cooper, and well, here he comes. Yeah, I knew he'd want to have his say, because in our own private group chat we had some differing views, let's say.
So Joe has put, just a word on Mark Cooper getting a Chelmsford job. A good pick for them. Superb coach tactically. Don't judge a book by a cover. A good guy will get Chelmsford close to going up next season. That's Joe's thoughts on it. Does anyone want to share any different thoughts? Or
Well, he's an experienced manager. You know, he's had some success. He got Yeovil up from the National League South back to the National League, didn't he? And he comes from good stock. And I think there's no doubt that he's an experienced and he's a wily manager. That's for sure. I just think it's maybe the way in which he comes across. You know, it comes across very, very dour, very sort of negative energy. And you know, I always look at a manager. I forget the name of the guy that was in charge of Manchester City once. The guy with the big grey long hair, and Pellegrini or something, was it?
Pellegrini, yeah.
And I've thought of other managers. I think if I was, and I played football for 25 years, if I was in a dressing room, would that man inspire me? I always think like that. And that's where I have my doubts, if I'm honest, with Mark Cooper. I've got no axe to grind with him. And indeed, I've only ever spoken to him once. But what about you, Ben?
I mean, you know, there is funny, because if anyone's seen it on YouTube before, there's a good documentary about Yeovil Town when he was manager there and when they got relegated from the National League. You know, and obviously they had a lot of his team talks in. And as like I said, Rob just alluded to, my personal opinion, I just don't feel like I would want to, you know, run through brick walls for him. If I'm being totally honest, I just don't find him aspiring. Like, you know, I've said there, we can't knock the fact, you know, that he is, you know, a good manager. He did get Yeovil promoted. Let's not forget that. You know, given the fact they were under a lot of pressure to get promotion at the first attempt. And, you know, he has built good sides over the years. He built very good Forest Green Rovers side, you know, quite a while back, you know, which, again, you know, I think he was the one that got him promoted. I think I can't remember the top of my head.
Yeah, I've got his honours up. He got Kettering Town promoted to the National League in 2007-8. He won the FA Trophy with Darlington in 10-11. He got Forest Green into the Football League in 2017, and he got Yeovil into the National League in 23-24. So yeah, that's his kind of. I'll let you carry on, but that's what he's won.
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, he is a good pick, and I think the Hatscove experience. You know, look, Angelo Harrop. You know, I think what he did for the Braintree side, you know, I think was exceptional. But I feel maybe they just needed that little bit more, you know, experience, and mainly for game management for them. You know, I'm sure he's got that, you know, bundles of experience with that. And like I say, having John Steele underneath him, obviously we're very aware of having a successful spell with the club back in the early early 90s, and then obviously coming back, obviously didn't manage to get our promotion, but look, he's someone that's again done well everywhere he's gone, and he's again very, very experienced manager with over 40, 50 years of experience. So you can't look past him, to be honest, and I'm sure he'll be massive in their recruitment process. But it's a big summer for Chelmsford. I don't think necessarily a massive rebuild, because I think a lot of that squad is good enough. They probably just need someone from a coaching perspective just to help them maybe get them over the line next year, because that could be the difference between them making the playoffs or not, as it's shown this year.
And Ben, there's no doubt that he can construct winning sides, build good squads. There's no doubt about that. That's you can't challenge that. The record's there. I think maybe I'm affected, and maybe even you are as well. We have to interview the manager every week, don't we? And and maybe I let that affect my opinion. I think I wouldn't necessarily want to interview him every week. And in all honesty, he and his family have been in football a really long time, and he's probably fed up of doing the media. But that's how it comes across, to be honest with you, And I just love positive energy. I love personality. I love, a humour and stuff like that. And I just I just find that missing. But hey, some people will say, look, if he can get us up into the next league, then he'll do for us. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's probably worth me as well touching, because obviously I didn't actually mention it. Obviously the big news that we've had this week is that after 7 years at the football club, George Elokovi's decided to stand down, obviously as manager, obviously for 3 seasons we've had him. And obviously, there's been a lot of been different opinions, but I think most of it's been fairly positive. And look, there's nothing I can say, badly about the man. I mean, George came in at a time, as a player back in 2019 when, the club was at a low point. It'd just been relegated from the National League. There'd been a lot of disconnect between the players and the fans. He came in and changed that straight away. Brought everyone back together, made himself so approachable for everyone. Was a proper role model for the younger supporters and a real leader on the pitch. And captained us to the National League South title back in 2022. Scoring on his very last game as a professional footballer, and lifting that trophy, which, thought that could be the best send-off any player could have. And then, he's had a little bit of coaching here and there, and then fully obviously got back into it, 2023, early 2023. His first, he couldn't have had a more tougher start when he started with us. He had Notts County away in the FA Trophy, which we managed to pour for shock and beat them on penalties. And then you play Wrexham in the league the week after. We were 2-0 down, brought it back to 2-2, and they had to score a last-minute winner to beat us. And then it went downhill a little bit, to be honest, and a lot of people were not convinced that he was the man to take us forward. And I think I would have been fair to say I probably didn't think he would be either. But the owners decided to stick with him, and what a decision it proved to be. He's had to rebuild the whole squad. He's had 2 playoff finishes with a possibility of a third. It's obviously semi-final, playoff final. He's won a Kent Senior Cup. But let's be honest, he's ultimately going to be remembered for that famous FA Cup run from 2 years ago. And obviously, look, I've said to him when and do you know what? I had the utmost respect for George, because he came up to me after the Hornchurch game. Bear in mind, we 2 or 3 days before the statement came out, he told me that he was off. And I have hold nothing but respect for him, because the players didn't even know. And it's about that, he felt he could trust me to come and tell me, as someone obviously that works behind the scenes of the football club. It meant the world to me to hear it from him rather than see it through a statement.
Yeah,
and I can't speak highly enough of George, for what he's done for me personally. He's an absolute gent. He will always have time for you. Like as Rob says, with interviewing managers, you get enjoyment of ones that, like ones you talk to. And George, I've only obviously interviewed 2 or 3 managers in the past, and he's been my most favourite to interview, because he makes you so relaxed. He doesn't put any pressure on you. He even comes out after the game sometimes said, "Ben, say whatever you want to me, because we deserve, to be, battered." But I would obviously, I always say to him, I would never throw him under the bus, and he will walk away. If it is on Saturday, his last ever, last game as manager, then, he walks away a club legend, as a player and as a manager. And, the first thing I said to him was, "Thank you for Portman Road." That's ultimately the day that we're going to remember him for. He might not achieve that promotion that he desperately wanted to get for us, but he gave us the greatest day in the club's history. And I'm so, so thankful to him. And Craig Fagan as well, who's been fantastic. Obviously with what happens with him, I don't know for sure yet. Obviously, a lot of players seem to be adamant that he might be going as well. But again, we'll find out, due course. I think they're still searching for a manager at the moment. But, look, I have nothing but respect for George, and there'll be no short of offers at all. I think he did say to me he hasn't got anything personally lined up yet. So yeah, that's to answer that question. But look, I think he wanted to have a bit of time with his family. Look, he had all of his family there on Saturday. We gave him a very nice send off. He even name dropped me in his speech after the game, which was
that's so sweet.
Which was nice. And we've got a couple of nice photos with the gang and everything after the game, which was nice. So yeah, I honestly, I hope that George goes on to have a fantastic coaching career, because he will go up as a coach, and I just hope that whatever club he goes to, he gets that resource and gets that backing that he deserves, because I think that's ultimately what sort of maybe let him down a little bit, is he didn't get that backing he needed. And but he's done a phenomenal job for the football club, and if he ever comes across this, I hope he knows how much I've really appreciated having him here as a club, as a captain, and as a manager. So yeah, thank you, George, and onwards and upwards for next season.
I think that's the closest I've seen Ben get to emotional, isn't it?
I know. No, honestly, though, as well, you did so well, Ben, because I know a lot of us have that attachment to obviously the club, but obviously I know yourself, Rob, and obviously you, Ben, and you do a lot for obviously your clubs, whether it's a commentary, whether it's a social media, and you do get attached, don't you, to people, because you're seeing them all the time. So you did that so well, because obviously it must be so hard, because you've got and it's like Jen as well, you've got the football side of it, but you've also got the people side of it as well. And yeah, it must be so hard, but you did do that really, really well, and it will come across. I'll clip it for it. I'll clip it for you. You can say, instead of a Yorkie comment, I'll be the best comment.
Well, I can say he was a good drinker the night before Ipswich. I can tell you that. So,
and just think, Ben, like throughout that journey, that was when you joined the podcast. So without that, you wouldn't have us crazy lot with you.
Yeah, very true. If it wasn't for George Ellacobi, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, put it that way. So that's
you're absolutely gutted, aren't you, really, that you sat here with us?
No, not at all.
Me.
Never you, Sean, never you.
Oh, thanks.
I'll take that on, Ben.
Oh. Has anybody got anything else that they do want to add, obviously, to the National League South? Sorry, because I've obviously come in. I don't know what we've actually spoke about and what we've not, so I do apologise again for that.
No, I think we've touched on pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything we have missed, so I think we can probably move on now.
Oh, just saw Dagenham. It's not done yet, but I did see a rumour about Kevin Nolan. Peter O'Rourke, the journalist, he can be a bit iffy, but he can be pretty accurate with stuff. That Kevin Nolan might be going to Dagenham because he's obviously good friends with Andy Carroll because of their time in the Premier League together. And obviously, Kevin Nolan was at Northampton and Notts County. Personally, I'm not too. I don't think it'll work too well. I don't know if anyone else has any other thoughts, but I don't think Kevin Nolan in National League South with Andy Carroll and KSI is kind of the recipe for success. And what's an insane league and big crowds and big expectation. I don't know how much that's going to work, but I think it could be very interesting to watch. When there's a lot of storylines in National League South anyway to watch out on. I think Kevin Nolan and that mixing pot at Dagenham could be a lot of fun next year.
Yeah, definitely. I know we've got Sean as well in the chat, who's obviously Northampton fan, so I don't know if he can shed any light on what his thoughts on Kevin Nolan were. He said his thoughts. If Kevin Nolan goes to Dagenham, he can take Colin Calderwood with him. That's Sean's thoughts on the matter. And just really quickly, sorry, we do have a question. Who do you think wins the National League South title next week, and who goes out of the playoffs?
Where do we start?
It's got to be. I think Worthing have got to see it through. They're at home. They've lost one game at home all season, and I just feel like the task might be a bit too much for Ebbsfleet, who, by the way, have got to win themselves. So it won't be a stroll in the park, but I fully expect Worthing to get it done, to be honest. They are a very good side, and on another day, they probably beat us. They had some good chances. So, I think that it's got to be them that does it.
Anybody else?
Worthing probably. Just remind me who Hornchurch are playing, because I'll tell you what, if Worthing's...
Maidenhead. It's another playoff chasing team.
Yeah, they are, and I get that. They're both tough games for both teams. No one's going to lay down for them, that's for sure. But it obviously has to be one of those two, doesn't it? But I don't know. It's just a bit freaky what happened at the weekend with all those others losing and drawing and Hornchurch winning. And Worthing, I think, were one of the 6. Well, they were definitely one of the 6 sides that could win the league last year, and they've experienced that. So there'll be a number of players that were there last year, and they've got to go through that again. Now, have they channeled that all season? Are they going to use that? Are they going to get it done this time? Or is it going to be tight? Is it going to be nervy? Is it going to be Arsenal? No, I didn't mean to say that. Sorry. No, it's tight, and thank goodness it is. We didn't want to go after 6 teams in the title race on the last day last season. We didn't want to go to just like one already having got it sewn up going into this. So. I don't think Hornchurch will leave anything out there in their search of their 3 points. That's for sure.
Well, at least you'll get to answer that question now, finally, Morgan. If Can Hitchell would get the job done, then we'll finally get to know now this weekend if he's capable of it.
I think he might have learnt a lesson. When you look at their recent running, they lost to you, but before that, they lost on the 7th of March to Tonbridge, and then they lost to you guys on the 18th of April. They might be in there, I don't know. And then they have to play Ebbsfleet. So I don't know if there's some Kent curse in there that's going to stop him winning the title. But when you look at it, they're on really good form, and they've got the point advantage. They've got the goal difference. I don't see them slipping up. I know everyone's got a tough game in there with several teams in the top 7 playing each other. Worthing playing Ebbsfleet, Hornchurch playing Maidenhead, even Dorking are playing Western. So there are a lot of big games in the top 8 there, or top 9.
Top 9, yeah. Don't forget us.
Well, no, but you've got a slightly easier one because you've got Bath, who aren't quite. You're not playing another team in the top. No, but you know what I mean. You're not playing another team in playoff race. But I think Worthing get it done. I think he probably has learnt a lesson. Feels worlds since he left us. It feels mental that was this season that he started the season as our manager, and now obviously everything that's happened, he's gone back to Worthing. We've got Maynard and everything that's happened since. I think he's probably learnt enough for lesson. 97 goals. They had that really bad patch at the start of 2026 that he seems to have figured out, and they seem to have turned it around. I think he's probably learned enough for a lesson and figured out what to do. I think Worthing do get it done.
I wish you kept him for a few more games.
Oh, title would have been gone a long time ago.
Just quickly as well, touching on this comment from Joe, he has put, the best compliment you can pay George Ellacobi is that I always let out a huge sigh when I saw Torquay had Maidstone coming up. Absolutely hated Torquay playing against his sides.
Yeah, the curse might be lifted next year if we're still playing each other, Joe. So let's see what the next few weeks bring.
Right, I will get to the table because there is a lot of red in this. So we will start at the top though. So top of the table, we do have Worthing on 81 points. Hornchurch is second on 80 points. They are actually the only team at the moment as well that have qualified for a playoff spot. If I'm right, I think I'm correct. Third, we have Dorking Wanderers on 78 points. Hemel Hempstead are fourth on 78 points. Torquay United, they are fifth on 77 points. Ebbsfleet United are sixth on 77 points. And Weston-super-Mare are 7 on 77 points. All the 7s on that one. And then we do have our relegated teams. So 21st, we do have Bath City on 43 points. Chippenham are 22nd, on 42 points. Enfield Town are 23rd on 40 points. And Eastbourne Borough are bottom of the National League South. As I mentioned, all of these teams relegated, but they do have 33 points. Right, we are going to go to the National League now. So before we get on to each of our teams, what I am going to do is just start by asking if anybody does have any results or standouts that they do want to talk about. And I know there's some news as well, obviously, when it comes to the National League. But first, I'll come to you first, Rob. Is there any on here that you do want to give a mention to?
Yeah, I think I'll go with Southend because Southend have had a tremendous week on the road. They went to Aldershot midweek last week and played very, very well, and played at least as well as all those other sides above them actually have done. I didn't necessarily have them quite in that category, but they're hitting form at the right time. They're getting players back. They had one of the strongest benches that I've seen. They were able to bring on Andrew Dallas and Harry Cardwell as substitutes late on in the second half.
I like
they
Cardwell.
Played extremely well against us, and then they've gone with renewed energy again up to Halifax and plundered 6. Now, you could say Halifax had nothing to play for. You could say they're on the beach, if you want to use that term again. But FC Halifax Town under Adam Lakeland, they don't concede 6 goals to anybody. You know, that was a ridiculous scoreline. And even more ridiculous because one of their players missed the coach and he had to ride up with Bedford Town, didn't he? We said we were going to talk about it and we never did in the end. Gus Scott Morris, their top scorer, his car broke down, tyre or something, and he managed to hook up with the Bedford Town coach at one of the services, and he got a lift up to the northeast because they were obviously going up to play at South Shields. And he managed to not only get there, but get on the score sheet yet again. I'm not sure if it was his 20th goal. I think he may be in all competitions, something like 19 now. Phenomenal and really coming good. And the one thing I have always said about Southend is once they're in the playoffs, they're going to be a hell of a dangerous side to come up against. And they're going to take some beating. And I wouldn't put it past them getting to Wembley 3 times in just over a year.
Still give me PTSD from last year, honestly. They really, really do. Really do. Goal, Gus Scott Morris. Assist, Bedford Town. I love it. I love it.
Really good header as well, from what I saw. Really good diving header, if I saw that correctly.
It's so good, Gus Scott Morris, honestly. Like, for the position he plays, the amount of goals he scores, he's just absolutely fantastic. No. Don't do this to me again, please. I've already got a migraine. Don't make it even worse.
Wembley.
Oh, no.
Wembley can't have a waterlogged pitch. You'll be all right.
Oh, he went there.
Do you know what, though? I'm not biting because I have been humble throughout the whole season, May. I have been so humble. I believe in good karma, Morgan. Good karma.
I don't believe in karma. Whatever happens. Que sera, sera, and all that.
Fair enough.
We do it. If we don't, we don't.
Fair enough. Jen, I'm going to come to you next. Anyone here you want to give a mention to?
I'd probably mention Boston United. I think they've done a tremendous job to be where they are and manage to escape the drop. They, like we said from the start, there was teams that were going to get relegated and teams that put up a fight, and Boston was one of them teams that have put a fight up. So, yeah, it's a good win for them. So, yeah, them and Gateshead have shown exactly what you need to do to get out of the drop, and we didn't.
Just touching on Gateshead as well, this made me laugh. So Lucas put, he's just happy to be staying where he's in National League. He's put, woken at home, couldn't be arsed with this game. We are staying up. So very straight to the point. So fair play, Luke. Fair play. Ben, I am going to come to you next. Any you want to give a mention to?
I'll say a good point for Wealdstone against Scunthorpe. We know Scunthorpe obviously going to be involved in that end of season drama, but Wealdstone finishing the season strong, and that this is probably going to be their best finish since joining the National League. With still a possibility of finishing 11th. Which again I think that's obviously going to be probably their target in the final day if they can. But job Gary Waddock's done since he's gone in there. It was always going to be a tough follow. Sam Cox obviously starting the season brilliantly for them. And to get another point against again one of the top sides. They've been obviously competing really well against them. Obviously moments away from getting a point at obviously your Dale the other week, sure. And obviously getting a point at home. It's again I think we said these clubs like your Tamworth, Bostons, and Wealdstones. Your best chance of staying in the division is making sure your home record is fairly solid. You can get as many points on the road as you can, but obviously, I think a lot of teams, probably their resources, rely on a good home record and making it difficult for the opposition, which again they've clearly done. So again, whether it's a case of Scunthorpe, just sort of leaping in there, they're going to obviously barring if Southend obviously failed to win, in the one of their last 2 games, and Scunthorpe should be okay for 5th spot. which again, look what a great return for them for their return back into the National League, which is a bit of a contrast with the last time, when they went straight back down after being relegated from League Two. So look, they are on the up again. Andy Butler's done a good job there, and fully expect them to, again, people are probably not taking them, much of a look in at the moment in the playoffs. So obviously we're all talking about whether it be Bournemouth, Carlisle, Southend, or whoever, York or Rochdale. Scunthorpe won't be there to make up the numbers. They'll give it their best shot, I'm sure, but they'll probably want to go and finish Saturday with on a high to get them into some good momentum, because obviously they're going to be involved in that eliminator. So it's making sure they can just make sure they secure that home game for them in that, and so a win against Eastleigh on Saturday would do the trick for them.
Morgan, any you want to give a mention to?
Woking, but more just Jermaine Defoe in
Yes.
general, because when he got that job, I know I was definitely sceptical, and I know other people were. Kind of his first actual managerial job. He'd been obviously England and Spurs striker and everything, and played at the top level. How is he going to go into a kind of a mid-table National League team? It's very different to kind of what he's used to. But they're unbeaten in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've won 2, drawn 4 of the last 6. They've conceded once in the last 4 games, scored by Morecambe's own Jack Nolan. And I just think that's quite impressive to drop into this league and to be able to keep clean sheets, stay competitive. I know some teams have less to play for at this end of the table, or at this point in the season, so there's kind of a bit less pressure on him. But still, he could have wobbled, and they could have really been threatened with relegation. I think he's gone in there, stabilised things quite nicely, and set them up for a solid summer. So as long as he can get on well with their director of football, which I know Woking fans have complained about for a long time, if he can go in there in the summer, get some good recruitment in place, then we might be talking about Woking as a dark horse for 7th next season.
Just to touch on the chat as well, Wolves have officially been relegated this evening. To be fair, though, I know it's not the Premier League show, but it's actually later than I thought it would be. They did put up a fight, didn't they, recently? But just going back, to obviously Southend, Merritt has put in the chat, Southend are looking very dangerous, playing some quick, crisp passing. Leon came back against Halifax and scored. He's by far our best player on his day. That's what Merritt has put. He also put as well, about playoffs, obviously. Boreham would scare him the most. Only team we have played this season and got played off the park. Very powerful team.
Yep.
He's mentioned Boreham Wood.
They terrify me.
Do they?
Yep. We've played them 9 times. We've never beaten them. It was like 8 score draws, and we then lost to them. We've never beaten them. I think it's 9 times. Yeah, 7 draws.
You best get it done on Saturday then.
We don't play them until the final. As it stands, they're definitely going to finish 4th, and so we don't play them until the final if we get there. So hopefully we'll get it done. Doesn't matter. But if there's any team that scares me, it's Bournemouth. I think Luke Garrard deserves Luke Garrard deserves a hell of a lot of credit, because they come up from National League South, and when you look at how, especially them and Scunthorpe have done, they've come up and they've gone straight to the playoffs. And I think Butler and Garrard both deserve a hell of a lot of credit, because this league's horrible. And you look at some of the teams that have been here for a while, like your Woking, so you're thinking a bit more mid-table, or Hartlepool have that support. There's some teams that you're thinking, yeah, they can make playoffs. You're not expecting 2 newly promoted teams to fly straight into the playoffs. So I think Luke Garrard and Andy Butler both deserve a hell of a lot of credit for those clubs.
Yeah.
No, 100% agree with that. I think he's one of them, to be fair. I'm not being funny. I actually agree with that. He's definitely up there for me, what he's done. And considering they got rid of him and then brought him back, you all know my opinions on Luke Garrard. I think he's fantastic. But yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, you've got the likes of Silver should be, McNulty, Maynard, but I definitely think Luke Garrard is up there. I don't know if you're all in agreement.
Yep, absolutely.
I think those 4 really. The 2 sides that are going into the title race over 100 points. Maynard obviously not been there all season, but fair play to the job he's done coming in. And then those 2 sides, it is phenomenal. It really is phenomenal. I'm looking at a bottom half, bottom third team, and the fight every year just to avoid relegation. And teams are coming into the league and just, the cream is rising straight to the top, isn't it? Fair play.
I also want to give a bit of a shout out to Andy Peakes at Tamworth, because they've massively punched above their weight. Where are they? 11th now, I think.
Yeah,
11th. Massively punching above their weight when they're one of the only non-professional teams in this league, and they're doing so much better than teams that are professional, have more money, better setups, everything. Andy Peakes at Tamworth deserves a lot of credit.
100% agree with that. And obviously Luke was put about Rob Elliott too. National League Manager of the season, nothing comes close, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, he's huge kudos for the job he's done since he's come back. Rob Elliott, fantastic, really. If you extrapolated his results across the season, Gateshead would be in the playoffs, right? So that is pretty phenomenal, taking over a team that, their run got as far as 15 or 16 straight losses, didn't it? I know he was there in charge of the first couple of those, or the last couple of those, but he's turned it around amazingly well.
One team as well I did want to mention, obviously, because the news has broke. And to be honest, I think Hartlepool fans, even though they absolutely loved him, they wanted a different appointment. I think they have for a while now. But Nicky Featherstone, obviously, he is leaving Hartlepool at the end of the season. What are your thoughts on this? Because I personally think he's done a really good job with them. Just with all the struggles that they have been going through off the pitch as well. I know some Hartlepool fans said with the takeover, they wanted to obviously get to this takeover. That has it happened, or is it due to happen, or something? I cannot remember. Which has it happened? Yeah, they wanted to obviously go up to the next level now and bring in a new manager. Are we all in agreement with this? Do you think that they need a new manager to take them to that next level?
He did a steady job.
I think that,
job. Yeah. Maybe slightly upwards of steady. But there were a number of occasions, I think. There are so many boxes you've got to tick as a manager. And I think his experience in the game, probably, his ability technically and to coach and all the rest of it is probably very, very good. Hartlepool in some of their games have really lacked something. You tend to get your snapshot, and that's what you take with it. But when they took on Aldershot at home, for a team like Aldershot to go there and win 3-0 with Hartlepool barely putting up a fight, it was quite shocking, in a good way for us because we needed the points. But that wasn't apparently the only time that they've turned up at home and not really been competing hard in the game. And you've got to do everything. Now, I'm not laying all the blame for that at Nicky Featherstone, and he certainly did a solid job. But the directors there obviously felt something is missing and isn't quite right.
I think there's been a bit of an issue of negativity across the season. When you look at their goals scored and games played, the goal difference isn't too bad. It's -9, I think. -4, sorry. Scored 49, conceded 53, which is decent, only conceding 53 in 44 games. But scoring 49 in 44 games just feels a little bit too negative. I know, obviously, they lost Manny Disaruve and Mancini, who are both at Dale now. And they have been pretty solid defensively this year, but I know they have had some games where they've just completely capitulated. They had the 7 against Wealdstone, conceded 3 against Aldershot, as you said, 3 against Boreham Wood just a couple of weeks ago. But then they can hold Dale to a 0-0, so they can be really solid defensively at times, but then they can be really quite poor. And they're just not offering enough in attack. And with new owners, they always want a new manager in. So hopefully they'll go get someone kind of sensible, but you never know what new owners want to do.
To be fair to them as well, they've took 4 points off us this season. Hartlepool, we've not beaten this season. Obviously that 0-0 at Hartlepool, but I'm not making any excuses because they absolutely battered us, to be fair. But that game we had at Accrington Stanley, while our pitch were doing over the Christmas period, Hartlepool played us and they were by far the better team that day. We just really didn't turn up, but they were the better team. And with Mancini as well, it's really sad, to be fair, because he's a player who we've not seen too much of him at Dale. I think it was a gamble, to be fair, obviously getting Mancini. And on his day and when he's fit, he's very technically gifted and he's so different to a lot of people in the National League. But he's just had so many terrible injuries that I don't think he will obviously get that opportunity again, because it just seems to be knockback after knockback and setback after setback with him. And it is such a shame because I've seen glimpses. I don't know if anybody agrees of Mancini, and he looks such a great player, absolute quality. And there's not a player like him, I don't think, in the National League on his day. He's so very different and very, very gifted, but it's just such a shame we haven't really seen much of him, because I feel like he would have been perfect for us this season, just to offer that something different to the rest of the players.
Yeah, on his day he's great. It's just his day isn't very often because he just can't stay fit enough for long enough. I remember when John Ashley signed him to Hartlepool, and that was 2 years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. And he looked excellent in very short stints. It just hasn't ever really clicked.
I completely agree. Has anybody got any other results they want to touch on before we go to, obviously, Aldershot, Morecambe, and some game that's happening on Saturday?
That big title one, yeah.
Because I just want to touch on, obviously, Altrincham as well, because they've been quite inconsistent, haven't they? We've mentioned that, but I think that's a very good win, obviously, away at Sutton. And I feel like with Altrincham, they really frustrate me, Altrincham, because they have so much potential there. And I know, obviously, they've lost key players, and you think they're going to pick up and go on a really good run, and you see them playing really good stuff, but then I think it's National League as a whole, to be honest, and they'll go and get beat off someone that they should really be beaten. And yeah, I think with Altrincham, I think they just need a couple more players to get them back to where they were. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I feel like there's so much potential with Altrincham again.
Yeah, and what they have had, and notably, particularly from this game, is they've got Ollie Crankshaw back. Now, he is another one of those players that is exceptionally good at this level, but he's had his injury problems this season as well. And if you look at the actual number of games he's played in the second half of the season and the number of goals he's scored in them, he's got a pretty good strike rate, to be fair. And he's got some really good goals in his locker, some special goals. He's a rich talent. And if you're Altrincham, the way that you've lost players like Linney and Con Clark, etc., over the last few years, you'll be hoping that Crankshaw's there as part of their squad for next season, because they always seem to lose one or two key forwards every year, don't they?
I really like Tom Crawford as well, I think he's quite underrated and he doesn't get the credits that he deserves. I think he was absolutely brilliant at Hartlepool, and obviously I think he's doing a really good job at Altrincham. And I feel like with Tom Crawford, he completely goes under the radar, and not many people give him the credit because he's just steady, I think, Tom Crawford. Right. Rock, paper, scissors, Jen. Robbie wants to go first. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack with both teams. Obviously, the games and then the news coming out about the change of managers. So I don't know which one of you does want to go first, but I'll leave it up to you both to decide.
Well, ladies first if you want to, Jen. Do you want to get it out of the way?
I wasn't there on Saturday, so I can't talk about the game. But I've had my moment. I've had my cry. I've dealt with it. It's done for me now. That's it. I'm done. Get me away on holiday for a week, away from it all, because it's been a season. That's literally what me and Liam have been saying since the start. Going into it, Boreham Wood, like you said, they are an incredible team, and I do think they could be a shock of the season for going up. I think they might just do it again. They have got my ex-favourite player in Tom White. But it is what it is. It's hard as a Morecambe fan right now. It's difficult. I wasn't there on Saturday. My friend went. But it's one of them at the minute. I knew as soon as Carlisle and we drew against Carlisle, it was done. That was my moment that it hit me, and I knew, right, that's it. And then obviously we went away and we got beat, and that's when it hit Liam. It hit him on the Saturday rather than the Monday. But you can talk about the Rochdale and the Carlisle games. You can talk about us beating Rochdale and drawing to Carlisle. That's two top teams that we've managed to come away with 4 points from. And that's something that we need to be proud of in some aspect. Like, we have we've tried, and you could ask any Morecambe fan. You could come to Morecambe and ask any Morecambe fan if we had Jim Bentley 2 or 3 months before, we wouldn't be in this position now. And I'm not just saying that as a huge
No, I
Jim
think we
Bentley
all
fan.
feel it. We all
I
think
just
it.
think if we had him a lot sooner, we wouldn't be where we are now. We wouldn't be feeling this way. The staff wouldn't be feeling like, do I have a job? Like, it's that difficult at the minute that no one really knows what's going on. No one really knows who's staying, who's going. The only one that we know is staying is Liam Hogan because he signed a 2-year contract. So it might just be Liam on his own, but that's fine.
It's a good player to have, though, especially, I know obviously you're dropping down Elite to the North, but he's a good player to have there. And even if you do get to a point where some of the players do move on, Liam Hogan is a fantastic captain, is a fantastic person to have on and off the pitch, and he's such a great role model as well. So even if he was, I'm not saying he will, but even if he was the only person there, Liam Hogan, he is a fantastic person to have there.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's the way he speaks, and like he did press on Saturday, and it's just the way he speaks and how lovely he is. And I think if we do lose Songo as a captain, and he does go, because he is getting a little bit old, it's like, I can't do the full 90 anymore. But if he does go, then I think Liam has a huge shout in being captain next year. But yeah, I kind of felt like it was inevitable that I knew it was coming, that I knew we could say, yeah, Jim's going to save us. But there was too much for Jim to do. There was way too much for him to do. And I think as fans, we knew the inevitable was coming. But when it happens, it's like, whoa, okay. Like, we actually are relegated to the North now. We have gone from playing the likes of Sunderland and Ipswich to playing the likes of Chorley and Chester. Like, how have we got here? Like, as a fan, it breaks your heart, because this is a club I've followed for 12 years. This is a club I've seen get promoted, to getting sold in the summer thinking everything was fine, to winning the first game of the season back, to now being relegated to the North. It's so difficult to sit there and try and put it into words. Like, it's still a struggle a few weeks later since you've been relegated. It's one of them where you're going to have to sit over the summer and think, like, what do we need to do next year? And the difficult decision is now we have no manager, which is, in my heart of hearts, and I said this to Liam when he told me, I wanted Jim to stay. I wanted him to be the manager for next season. He knows the club, he knows the fans, he knows the North. He would have been incredible, but I can understand why he stepped down. I can understand it's a lot for him. It's a big commute every single day that he does. And I can understand why he stepped down, but I can also see why he doesn't want to leave. He is Morecambe through and through. Whatever his new job role is, he will not let anyone take the mick out of this club. He will not let anyone do anything to harm this club. He will be there in some aspect, and on a personal level, for the past couple of months, he has been utterly incredible with Liam, with me, with the staff, with the players, with everyone. He has been one of them managers that you sit there and you think, he's just a really nice bloke. Like, I heard from some Rochdale fans as well on the Friday that were there, that he was going up to Rochdale fans and speaking to them and being like, oh, I hope you're doing okay, kind of thing. Like, he is one of them that generally cares about you, and he gives the best hugs. Like, generally, I could hug him all day. Like, generally, he is incredible. But yeah, I can understand why he stepped down. It's hard right now as a fan, not just as a fan, but as someone who is with someone who works within the club. It has been soul destroying these past couple of months, seeing what it's doing to the staff. And a lot of people don't see that, obviously, because it's behind the scenes and whatnot, but it has destroyed a lot of staff, what has happened, and being relegated to the North. It's hard now, but all we can do is sit, right, let's just get the season out of the way. Let's take some time to go on holiday, switch off completely, come back and just see what happens next year. We have to survive next year. There is no if or but about it. We have to survive. There is no way we can go out of the North. It will be the end, in my opinion, if we go. But it's difficult right now as a fan, as a person who sees someone that works there day in, day out. It is soul destroying. But right now we've just got to get through the last game at Forest Green and just go on holiday. I am booking a holiday as soon as I get paid next week, and we are going away in June, because I think not just me, but Liam needs to fully switch off from all of it. It's been a lot to deal with behind the scenes. And
two consecutive seasons now, and the whole summer in between, you didn't know if you were going to have a club, did you? And I just got one question for you, Jen. I mean, look, the positive, when once you've all processed it and you can clear your heads, the positive news is that Scunthorpe, York and Stockport all did the same thing. They all dropped through and they've all come back. And that's got to be encouraging for you. It can be done. You've got to bottom out the downward momentum. My question to you, and I'm not saying this from a vulture type question, but the other player that stands out for me, I think it's fantastic to say Liam Hogan to put his line in the sand and say, I'm going to come and play here for the next 2 years. That is a great start. Have you got Nolan on any sort of contract? Have you got any hope of keeping him? Because to be honest, I felt he's almost too good for the league he's in now, let alone dropping down more.
Yes, I don't think he'll stay next year. I think he probably has offers on the table already, and if he stays, fair enough to him. But he is way too good to be National League. He needs to be back in League Two. He was incredible with Ake. He then came to us, and he's been unbelievable. He struggled under Ash, like he really struggled. But once Jim came in and played him where he should have been played, he has been unstoppable for us. And yeah, I honestly, nicest guy you'll meet, lovely man, like speaks incredible in press. And I just think if we keep him, massive. But in my opinion, he deserves to be back in the Football League in some aspects, whether that is the EFL, Scottish Prem, who knows? He could go anywhere, in my opinion. But yeah, it's hard because you get bonds with these players and you really like these players, and then it comes to the end of it, and Markham, and you've got no squad, and it's like, right. So it's a restart again. But yeah, well, I'd like to keep him, but I don't know. I think he'll be gone.
Just quickly in the chat as well, this came up. So Rob, I'm going to ask you about that situation, but Jen, would you take this right now?
Yes, 100%. All over Twitter and Facebook, every single Morecambe fan is saying, yes, get on that phone right now and get him to Morecambe. Because if there's one person that could help us get back into the National League, it's him. He's got a good rep with Jim. He knows Jim very, very well. Them two could work very, very well. I think if they're not on the phone tomorrow, I think he's going to be snatched up pretty fast. I think he is. He's one of them managers that I think says what he wants, says how he feels, and why not give him a shot at Morecambe? I'd rather have someone with experience than someone with none. That's the way I'm looking at it now. I want someone who has experience in football and can help us try and get back up or just survive this year and then see. But for me, hands down, every single Morecambe fan is saying get on that phone tomorrow.
I think just for a little bit of kind of hope, Stockport went down to National League North. They were there for 6 years, finished as low as 14th. We went down to that league, were there for 5 years, finished as low as 12th. It's going to be a long road back, but teams have gone from National League North all the way back up. And I think there's a little bit of encouragement to be taken from the fact that the ownership, as many as mistakes as they did make, they finally sacked Ash. They brought in a grown-up. They're then keeping Jim at the football club as someone that knows the football club. If you can go get John Coleman, you've got 2 grown-ups in that football club that will know exactly what to do. If you get him, then you're in a decent position. Obviously, If you don't, you've got to hope it's another adult somewhere that's been around in the National League, League Two, hopefully National League North, but it's not essential. Even if it's someone like John Askey, who's obviously from that area, I don't know if he's going to want to stay down in Truro, because obviously a long way from where he's usually managed. But if you can go get a grown-up who knows that league, then, or knows non-league football in general, then you're in a decent position. But we've seen teams fall as low as the National League North and come back up. So
yeah,
it'll be a long run back, but you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Rob, where do you want to start with Aldershot? Do you want to start on John Coleman or do you want to start on the game?
I'll do the game and get it out of the way fairly
No
quickly.
problem at all.
The most disappointing game of the season for me, I was really low. And I normally just keep quiet with negatives and talk about the positives. But one of the hardest commentaries I've ever done on Saturday, because I could feel myself repeating the same things. And you know what they say, the general law in life, if you can't say something good, don't say something at all.
Yeah.
You can't do that when you're the commentator. You have to keep talking. And that's why I found it one of the hardest. And the reason I found it one of the hardest is because you can look at it from the outside and say it was a dead rubber, but it wasn't. Brackley were desperate to win their last home game. They were desperate to win for the first time under Andy Wing. The runner got longer and longer and longer. I think it was 14 games. And Aldershot desperately wanted to, there's been 3 big chunks to the season. They've really, really struggled. They found themselves dropping down. They started okay, actually, but they found themselves dropping right down to the edge of the relegation positions. The bad run carried on when John first came in, and then John recognised what was needed, and John made the changes, and John brought in some excellent loanees, 4 or 5 of them, plugged the gaps, stopped leaking goals, started scoring plenty of goals, and for 8-9 games we had the perfect cocktail, and it looked so much better, so much more hopeful. In those 8 or 9 games, we got ourselves safe this season, and I'm grateful for that. Jen would swap losing the last, only winning 1 out of the last 11 if you did enough somewhere in the season to stay up, So it's an absolute mind blower. I'll use the word blower instead of the word that's in my head. Because we've actually had one of the worst runs a team could have, losing 8 games on the trot. We've then won 8 out of 10. And then we've only won 1 in 11. It's like 3 seasons within a season, or 4, if you look at the first bit of it. So full credit to Brackley on Saturday for the win. They wanted it more. Morgan Roberts, the only player in their team who'd worn the red and blue of Aldershot Town, scored the goal after 7 minutes. Aldershot huffed and puffed the whole way through after that. They just couldn't just looked a shadow of themselves. I'd never, ever label against an Aldershot Town side that they weren't trying. And I wouldn't even on Saturday. They were trying, but they had no creation. They had no clue, really, about breaking Brackley down. Brackley had scored the first goal in the game for the first time in a while. And they understandably said, will you come and break us down now? So we're up against 11 men the whole time. It didn't happen. We had the indignity of seeing Connor Hall come off the bench in the 88th minute and score with his first chance in the 89th to make it 2-0. The game was done. I turned to my co-commentator. I said, it would be ironic that Aldershot will probably score now that Brackley have got a second. And they did. It was a lovely goal from Matt Penny. After the game, John was really quite outspoken to the extent that the interviews had reached over 100,000 on X, on Twitter, in terms of its reach. And that's largely because he was saying, to be brutally honest, I've been hoodwinked by this team when they went on the good run. The rebuild I've got to do is even bigger than I thought. Basically said he's going to have a right old clear out. The previous week, I'd asked him, are you definitely staying? There's a 2-year contract. Dean Wood, the chairman, has said that you're staying. They shook a hand. You're talking about next season. He said, yeah, I'm here. I'm staying. But I don't know if we ever fully believed that. His job, his remit was to come in and keep Aldershot up. Thank you, John. You did it. You did it in those 8 or 9 games where you got all those wins. And we'll always be grateful for that. But today's news, did I see it coming? No. Was there rumours and rumblings? No, there wasn't. There wasn't. So it has taken me by surprise. I haven't had too much time to digest it, and I haven't really seen too much reaction from other Aldershot supporters. But I can see a positive, and the positive is that it's bold leadership. Some people at the moment are questioning Dean Wood and saying, do you know what you're doing? What on earth are you doing? But what we don't want is for John to start the clear out, John to start the rebuild, and then, and I wouldn't blame him for this, by the way, a team like Morecambe or Tranmere, who could come down yet, come calling for his services, and the temptation to get back up to the northwest and get closer to home is huge. And I think that's always, John's always been very honest about that, you know. So today they've obviously had a meeting, and to whatever extent it was, the chairman and John have agreed that John's not staying and he's gone. The interesting thing for me over and above that is that James Henry, the player coach, is also going. Now, I don't have inside information on it, but if in that one sweeping statement they've both gone, that makes me think that Aldershot Town are making moves. That makes me think that Aldershot Town are going for somebody else in the background. I don't think they'll dwell on it. I think they'll appoint fairly quickly because you need to. Players don't know where they're going to be here or whether they're going to get a contract offer for next season. So that's pretty much it from the Aldershot Town camp at the moment. I expect fairly swift news on a new managerial appointment. If pushed on it, I'll give you a name in a minute that I'd like to see there. But just on John, I think that would be a good fit, Jen. I think it would be a good fit. I know that he gets on well with Jim Bentley.
Yeah.
I know that they were rivals, weren't they, Accrington and Morecambe back in the day. But that's fine, you know. That's no reason for him not to go. That could come off. That could come off, that one. And who knows? We all speculate from the outside. We don't know. Some of these conversations might already have been had, mightn't they? So, but there you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of you wanted to react. How surprised were you to see that news today that John Coleman was going?
Very surprised. I was not expecting that at all, to be honest. Was not expecting it at all. But then part of me, when we were talking in the group chat, and we obviously mentioned the links to possibly Morecambe, that kind of made sense as well because it's nearer to home, obviously, for him. Like you mentioned, that is quite close with Jim Bentley as well. And we know, obviously, Jim Bentley still wants to be involved some way in Morecambe, and it just makes sense as well for that to happen. So I was really shocked seeing it, but the more I heard, like, us in our group chat having that conversation, it did kind of make sense then, if it was to happen, obviously, because nothing's obviously set in stone right now from what we're aware of. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to happen? I mean, that's the 6th or 7th managerial announcement, you know, that's come towards the end of the season where managers are going to be saying goodbye on the last game of the season. And I can't ever remember this happening to so many clubs, you know, at the same time. 3 of the 5 of us are experiencing it, you know, right now, which is crazy. Whoever comes in to Aldershot already knows that the budget's being cut by 200,000. They're going to have to be savvy. They're going to have to be people that can polish up a sow's ear and turn it into a silk purse or whatever the phrase is. But there's a few names that do get banded around. One that I'd quite like, if I'm honest. I know we have to be a bit careful, don't we? Because once we associate someone with the club and we love them and the fans love them, sometimes it's not always for the right reasons that we want them or want them to come back.
Yeah.
But I think for the right reasons, I'd like to see Scotty Davis come back to Aldershot now. He's been at the club 3 times. He loves the club. He's never forgotten them. He's come and called a couple of Aldershot games with me as the co-commentator when Slough weren't playing. He's highly thought of. He has that reputation for polishing up, rough diamonds and moving them on. You've got your Leon Chambers-Perillion, Slavy Spazov, Adam Dubois up at Gateshead, Victor Makowski, who's now gone to Worthing. Countless players that have moved up and through from Slough.
I'm so sorry. Bless him. He's had two of you try and poach him tonight, the poor lad.
We love Scott Davis, Steve. We love him.
Yeah, we're going to finish the podcast now, and we're going to do an auction for Scotty Davis's service.
Jen, do you want it?
Might as well at this point.
Yeah,
Not got much to offer, but
yeah, exactly. But that's one name. There's other names as well. There's some good managers floating around. I mean, nobody's all these vacancies. Nobody's mentioned Birchie yet, who's left Bedford, and he's done extremely well with them. He's another one. He's worked on real tight budget constraints, hasn't he? So, he's another one that could throw his hat in the ring.
Neil Ardley's just left your biggest rivals in Woking. He could go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was mentioned. I did my BBC Surrey chat earlier on, and Neil Ardley was mentioned then. The fact that he was at Woking, I don't hold against him. We all get over those things, don't we? I think Innie Effiong, Scott Rendell, Jake Cole, various players have done it, and they've been heroes at both clubs. Yeah, George Elokobi played for Aldershot for a little while. He did, Danny. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a managerial merry-go-round, isn't it? But
it really
I'm
is.
Still in a bit of shock, and I don't know what else to add. Really, let's see what happens.
Does anybody want to add anything on this, or do you want to move on?
I think there's a big game on Saturday. We probably
I think we should end the podcast right now.
I honestly wouldn't blame you at this point. We're going to speak about it for the next week, aren't we?
Okay, right. Let's start an Aldershot Truro. Okay.
Morgan Forest Green. Yeah, great game.
Right, Morgan, come on, talk to us obviously about York City 3, Yeovil Town 0, and just your thoughts on the whole game, and obviously you and your experience after, because we've seen a lot of things on the socials with the York players and things like that. It was very, very tense. So just all in now, go for it.
It was, you could tell, I know we've mentioned this phrase a million times on this podcast, but on the beach, Yeovil were absolutely nothing to play for. Their fans came up on the Friday night. I saw a few of them put some photos on Twitter, how they're in a few pubs in York, seemed to have a great time. They seem to have, I think they brought 200 up, which is a really good following for a dead rubber game at the other end of the country. So fair play to the Yeovil fans. You could tell they weren't really bothered by it at all. It was a really regulation game for us. We were 2-0 up at half time, and you're thinking this is going to be a really easy second half. It was a bit more of a game than I expected. I've seen some of these games where we were like 3-0 up against Gateshead at half time, or after half an hour, like 4-0 up against Braintree after half an hour. Like there's some of these games where we've cruised out to easy wins. But the Yeovil second half was a bit more in play, and it was kind of, even though there's nothing to play for, we hit the woodwork twice, and we kind of went for it a bit more than I expected. And it was just kind of petering out. I had a mate sat next to me because my dad was away. I think it was the first home game he's missed all season. Put me on a timer. I'll try and keep it succinct. No, I had a mate sat next to me, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to leave at 80 minutes. If Dale is still doing the job and York's still doing the job, like I'll leave because there's nothing to play for." And he started walking down the stairs, and then hear this massive cheer as Braintree equalised. And in all of the chaos, we then got a third, Joe Gray, with a really nice goal as he cut in on his left foot. And in the post-match interview, really Stuart Maynard said how they'd been trying to work coming in on his left foot, because he can look really, really good on his day, but he's just a bit inconsistent. It was just, I don't really know the timeline of it. I was just kind of caught up in it all because we scored, Braintree scored, we hit full time, Dale won it. It was just a bit mental. And my mate and everyone around me was checking their phone. I was like, I'm going to keep my phone in my pocket. I'm just going to try and stay present in the moment, because if we win it, then I'm going on the pitch. But at the same time, I had a million other things in my head in whatever else going on in my life. So I was like, let's just see what happens. And my friend was next to me, was like, 90 seconds, 80 seconds, 70 seconds. He was literally refreshing his phone every 10 seconds. I was like, just put your phone away and just whatever happens, happens. I stood next to him. My hand was literally shaking. I couldn't stay still. And then everything just went flat. And people were like, oh, Dale scored. I was like, all right, fair enough. We'll go to next week. It was just a really weird atmosphere. And usually on the last home game of every season, the players go around the pitch with their family, and it's a really nice atmosphere. I don't know if other clubs do it, but all the players come out with their family. It's lovely. We had it last year. It was great. But that didn't. I know, obviously, with it being a 5:30 kickoff as well, I wanted to get home. I didn't get home until gone 9 o'clock. It was a really, really late night, considering it's a 5:30 kickoff. And yeah, Joe, you're right. Yeovil were awful, but they weren't. Oh yeah, that Matt Ugly tweet. I was trying.
Yeah, that Matt Ugly tweet. I know all Yeovil fans we're all Dale.
Yeah, and I put out a tweet myself like, there's a lot of fans that now want us to lose, and I've had a lot of replies with like, we don't really care about York, we just hate your owner, and I kind of get it. Like, I hated that tweet from Matt Ugly. I don't think I said anything personally, but I was liking a few York fans' tweets, and that was just unnecessary because there's just no need for it. Yeovil don't really like us, but they'd come and they'd had a decent day out, and now you've just got another team that hate us. Luton fans still hate us for what happened 14 years ago. Oldham fans still want us to bottle the playoffs because of everything that Ugly's done. We're just creating enemies for ourselves.
Can you blame me?
No, your reaction was great. I loved it on TikTok. But yeah, we're just creating enemies for ourselves, and I don't really like it. I want us to just be able to, next season, I want us to go up and finish 12th and everyone to kind of forget about us. I don't like being, and no disrespect to some of the teams in our league, but big fish in a small pond. A lot of eyes are always on York City. Everyone wants to know what's going on with us. We've got this mouthy owner. We spend a lot of money. We're at the top of the table. We've got 200 points in the last 2 seasons. There's always a lot of talk about us, and it just gets really draining as a fan. A football season's really long anyway. It's 9 months. It's from the start of August to the end of April, start of May sometimes. It can just get really draining, and I just want us to be able to go about a normal season for once, and we don't seem to have that. So Ugly getting so loud on Twitter can just be a bit, I don't know, irritating. I don't know if that's the right word. Sometimes it's great, but it's just unnecessary sometimes. So, yeah, it was a weird Saturday. We didn't really get to celebrate the end of the season with the players because everyone had kind of gone a bit flat, and we didn't really know what was happening with the players all huddling around that phone and that bit of footage that's gone kind of viral around social media now. It was just a really weird Saturday. Fair play to the Yeovil fans that turned up, and I hope they can have a better next season because Billy Rowley did make them look quite good at times this year. But you could tell when it was kind of certain who was going down, who was staying up. Yeovil were like, cool, we're safe, and they just had nothing to play for. So I think they could be quite interesting next year, and I hope we can have a pretty normal, chill week before the biggest game of our, biggest game since the playoff semi-final last year, and biggest game since the Boston final a few years ago, I guess. And I'm trying not to think about it too much because next Monday, if we're doing this podcast, one of us is going to be devastated, the other one of us is going to be buzzing. So we'll dissect it.
I already know it's going to be me that's going to be devastated. They're setting me up. They're setting me up with these late winners, and I just know it's going to go completely wrong in front of a crowd.
I have seen one tweet though a few people have suggested, can they please go get like a League One referee, because I do not want this game decided by a poor refereeing decision.
Yeah,
it would
I've
be
seen that tweet. I do agree with it.
45 games up to this point, 200 points plus between us. It's been an amazing season from McNulty and your players, Maynard and our players, and everything. The fans have spent so much money going up and down the country and putting so much effort into everything. We can't have a poor ref ruin this game. So if they can go get a League One ref, please go do it.
The only thing is, last time we had a better standard ref apparently was Darren Drysdale in that whole Manny Desirue penalty situation. So part of me is hoping he comes back because he owes us big time. I'm joking. I will touch on the Dale game. I'm going to be really honest now, and it's something that I've said for the last few weeks. We weren't up to our best. Braintree, especially that second half, they deserved at least a point out of it, if not the win. I thought that was one of the best performances I've seen for Braintree this season. They really, really did play very, very well. Some of the chances they had as well, it was a good job, obviously. Ollie Watmuth was there in net, someone who we've relied on heavily this season. He's just been fantastic in net for us. And I just want to say right now, no matter what happens, in this final game in the playoffs. Oliver Watmuth, I know people remember that name anyway, because it's one of those very strange surnames, but this kid is going to be right up there, honestly. He's fantastic. And for an 18-year-old in his first season of like professional men's football, he has been absolutely fantastic. So I just wanted to add that. Obviously, Callum Perry as well, another one. His side, Coventry, have now been promoted into the Premier League. I know I've said the last couple of games he has struggled that little bit. I don't know if the pressure got to him, but he was fantastic against Braintree. Really, really good. And no matter what happens, I am so proud of every single player and member of staff. And it's a crazy one with this game because I didn't really know what to expect, I'll be honest, going into it. And I thought, we've just pulled off, obviously, that fantastic Luke Hannant goal, another late goal. We've obviously pulled off the Sutton goal as well. I thought it would be so typical of Dale now to go into this game and end up losing it because all pressure were off on Braintree, already been relegated. And I always say I hate playing those kind of teams where it's obviously away from home. They've got their home crowd. They obviously pressures off them. They want to perform in front of that crowd and their fans. So part of me was thinking the worst. I'm not going to be wrong. And then obviously very tough game. It was a defensive error. Our first goal from Braintree's defence, but I think it was an excellent finish by Adi Barlow, someone who I've spoke about this season, and I really do rate Adi Barlow, but it's been quite a frustrating season from him. He's not really been up to what he was last season, but I don't know if that's part of obviously Manny Desirue coming in, and Manny Desirue has been very, very clinical, and I think that was something we were missing last season. We didn't often rely on that out-and-out striker like we have with Manny Desirue. There's been a lot of people, obviously, last season contributing, and that's where his goal tally, obviously, was a lot better than this season. But, yeah, I'm glad he's obviously gotten a score sheet. And I just thought, and I don't know if anybody saw my watch-along in the chat, but throughout the game, I was like, I'm still not happy with 1-0. I'm still not happy with 1-0. We have to score another one because I can see an equaliser coming. And the equaliser did happen and fully deserved from a Braintree point of view because, as I said, they were really, really good. Equaliser obviously came from them. And at that point, I had several York City fans coming into my chat. And I had to hold it together because part of me wanted to burst into tears, I'm not going to lie. And I thought, right, here we go. I'm going to have to hold it together now. I decided to put myself out there, put myself through this hell. It obviously looked like York were going to win it at that time. I had both games on. And then, obviously, last kick of the game, it was actually Manny Desirue, but I just want to say fantastic from obviously Oliver Watmuth to then Callum Perry, Dan Moss, someone who I've spoke about the latter end of the season, was absolutely fantastic. To then Manny Desirue, very good finish. And I know there's obviously been a lot of uproar with the 9 minutes injury time. I know people have obviously complained from the York perspective about the injury time as well and the late goals, but I just wanted to add, obviously, from what I saw and part of it, obviously, Braintree's goal did come in injury time. There was a lot of celebrations from that. Their goalkeeper went down with cramp. And then I think there was another substitution during that injury time. I don't know. I think it might have been for Dale, to be honest, another substitution in that. And that's obviously led up to that additional time.
I wouldn't worry about that one, Charlotte. People are clutching at schools for that. It's not even a reason.
It's popcorn kettle black. Like, we've done it loads, you've done it loads. Here's what it is. The best teams in the league score. And the defending was really poor from the for your winner. Like, Manny Desirue shouldn't be free at the back post. But when you're playing a poor team that's been relegated, what do you expect? We've scored loads of goals against poor.
Shah, question for you before you. I know you're not quite finished yet, but question for you, just taking you back to that moment. I didn't watch any of it live, but I then saw the clips from your watch along, and I think you said the words just before you scored, "That's it, done." I think you said, "That's it, done." Oh, we've scored. literally in the same like 5 seconds. Have you watched it back?
Yeah. Well, what it was, sorry, I think I can hear myself echoing. What it was, obviously, I was watching the game and it went straight back then. And it was obviously the minutes and everything. I thought, oh, here we go. It went to a Braintree player before that because I watched it on the DAZN app on my phone. So I was slightly behind. So I was behind on it. And then obviously I went, oh, it's done because it obviously got to that time. Braintree had it. And from that moment, it was crazy because then for some reason, I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, but this notification came through. I don't know if I clicked it off, but it was Flash Score. And it came up, obviously, 2-1 Rochdale. But Flash Score has done me dirty so many times this season where there's been a mistake. So I was like, I think we've scored, kind of thing. But I thought, no, I'm not going to go with it because the Tamworth game, when it went to penalties, it came up that we'd actually won that game when we didn't. We actually lost on penalties and then it was correction. So I thought, right, I think we've scored, but I don't really know. And then I was watching the game on my phone and before that, just before it came up Manny D, but I didn't see that on my phone. I was too invested in the game. And then obviously I saw it happen and I was like, yes, Manny D. And honestly, it was one of the most amazing memories, but also so mentally draining as well because then I had it in my head, right, we've lost it now, we've got to playoffs, and then for that to happen again. And just one thing I wanted to point out, everybody criticised our side last season, myself included, for mentality. But the latter end of this season and those late goals show the mentality and how much we want this as well. And that was something a lot of people criticised Jim McNulty for and the players last season. And I know I've come on the last few weeks and said there's signs there that they're tired, there's signs there of last season. But I can assure you, every single one of them players, no matter what happens, they want this, and it's shown it in those late goals. And I'm glad for National League and York and Rochdale fans as a whole that this has happened and it goes down to this game because it's two top teams who have fought this season. Obviously, the best teams in the league this season, and this final day gets to decide amongst themselves which is the best team overall. And as much as I didn't want it to happen, and I think if it does happen, it could impact the other team in the playoffs because it'll be so mentally draining for them. I feel like it had to happen just to go toe to toe with them.
100%. And if you didn't score, if Manny D doesn't get that goal in the 99th minute or whatever it was, you're lining up to give York a guard of honour on Saturday. That's what's happening.
Don't.
You were 30 seconds away from doing that, and now you don't have to do that. And the one, when everybody kept saying for weeks after week after week, like, York have just got to stay within 3 points and take it to the last day, and then they got a great record against Rochdale. Weirdly, and I don't know why, I just kept thinking, I think it will go to the last game, but I think Rochdale will need to win, and that has played out. That's how it is now, and you're actually happier about that, I think, Shah, aren't you? Going into Saturday, we'll come to Morgan as well, obviously, but you're happy that you've just got to go out and win that game.
I think that's the best thing for us, to be honest, because we're just going to have to go for it. Like, we're at home now, and I know a lot of people are obviously mentioning York have beat us twice this season, which rightly so. I know that game at York, we just had a crazy 10 minutes where our defence just completely lost the plot, so I can't really judge it off that game because I thought first half we were pretty even, weren't we, Morgan? That first half, apart from obviously that second half where Maynard tweaked it and stuff. But yeah, it sounds stupid as well. But as much as obviously I thought the worst at the time, going into that and having Manny D score, and it was a weekend, obviously the anniversary of Joey Thompson, and I felt like it sounds stupid, but I feel like there's little signs there as well, like, and it sounds crazy. I don't know if anybody else believes in those kind of things, but that kind of thing, I'm thinking, wow, it's madness. And it's like last year when it happened, when that with Joey Thompson, and it was like, we scored on the 19th and the 89th minute, and it's actually the year he was born, and little signs like that. And I know someone said obviously in the chat about the rainbow and things, and it's just crazy. There was a rainbow at Braintree and things like that. It's just absolutely crazy. And I know obviously there's a game to play, but these signs I'm hoping are positive signs for us, and I just hoping and praying we don't go out there and get absolutely thrashed by them. Honestly, that's one thing I'm hoping. Not I'm hoping it's a late winner from Dale. Like, it's gonna be, part of me's thinking if it's not gonna be a thrashing, it's gonna be some late goal scramble. Like, and that's gonna absolutely mentally torture me. But like we've mentioned, I think the most exciting bit of it and the best part of it for a Dale perspective is we've just got to go out there and win at the end of the day. We've got to go for it. And even if we go for it and end up obviously getting hit on the break or getting hit thingy, at least we're going to go out there and go for it. Where I feel like Jim McNulty in the past, when he has tried and gone all defensive like he did it the other day at Braintree, that was when we kind of collapsed a bit, and then we went for it again and we scored that goal.
So how are you feeling, Morgan, the other way? Just letting Char catch her breath. How are you feeling the other way, knowing that 2 of the 3 possible results are in your favour?
I'm glad we've got a safety net. Like, if we're 2-1 up and then Dale equalising like the 89th minute, all right, sound, we're still 2-2. Like, we still have the title. Obviously, there's momentum there and everything. Football's weird. If I could write a script up, we'd be 4-0 up within 30 minutes and it'd be game over. But
so the opposite to what you did in the playoffs last year, then, yeah? When you went 3 or 4 0 down.
Oh my God, please. I went off Twitter for about 3 days after that. I'd be off Twitter for about a week after this game. Like, I can't deal with it. Yeah, so you might not see me on Monday. I might go into a cave and not speak to anyone for a week if we don't win this game.
I'm have to be here anyway, regardless if we lose or win.
Oh, the amount of bookmarks on my tweets. I will be murdered online. I can't deal with it. No, I'm glad we've got a safety net, and I do trust Maynard. I'm glad we've got like Ollie Banks and Jeff King and players that have won this league, because I felt like that was such a killer of us last year. We played that Oldham team with Mickey Mellon that has won this league, and that team, you can just go through their squad from last year. It was like Norwood and so many of their other players last year. It's like Tick won this league, Tick won this league. Like Mark Kitchen, we've got him who won the playoffs last year. Who scares me the most? Actually, Emmanuel De Cerve. He terrifies me. Everyone's kind of forgot about how good a season he's got. What's he got? 22 goals this year? Like, if that was a normal season, everyone would be like, yeah, he's a great striker. But Ollie Pearce has 34, whatever it is. Like, I think a lot of players have not been given the credit they deserve because other players have outshone them. Which, the amount of talent in these 2 squads. Mancini, as we said earlier at Hartlepool, he doesn't really play for you. Like, I know there's injury concerns, but your bench could start for so many teams in this league. Like, playoff teams would want half your bench. Same with ours. We've got like Alex Newby and Joe Gray on the bench. Like, they'd get into so many teams in our league.
Henderson, mate. Ian Henderson. You're going on about all these players, right? The one to watch, and it sounds absolutely stupid.
No, you're right.
Ian Henderson. Yeah. He just brings a calmness and such composure when he comes on, honestly.
I want Linnell John Lewis on loan for a game then, because I want him back. I miss that man. But yeah, no, it is. It's Ian Henderson. Like, it's what do you mean you can bring in a 40-year-old man that's an absolute club legend?
1-year-old.
41 actually.
Even better. Like, he knows that club inside out. It's like, yeah, I love Stuart Maynard. We don't have anyone. Ryan Fowlerfield's the one for us. He's been at the club since we got promoted into the National League. He did 2 relegation scraps. He almost got promoted with us last year. I'm hoping we've got enough. I really do hope we've got enough, because, again, I can't do playoffs. I know it's the best way to get promoted. If anyone's ever seen their team promoted through the playoffs, it's the greatest thing ever. But I can't deal with 105 points, whatever it be, and not going up. I see a lot of people, like BT Sport were tweeting about it earlier. It's like, it is getting a bit frustrating as well. Oh, 2 teams are going to get 100 points. One's not going to go up. Just fix the system, please. Can we just have it so, like, 2 teams can just go up?
Yeah.
Even if you just scrap the playoffs, just do the top 2 go up and make it that easy. Just please, can we have a normal football system? Thank you.
The only thing is, though, if we get promoted, both of us, part of me thinks, would we then want 3 up, 3 down? Because it'd be 3 possibly going down then. So I kind of get even though I'd love it from the National League point of view, and I think it has to happen from like the League Two perspective as well. I think that from the League Two perspective, they're kind of bobbing it a little bit because they're like, but then 3 of us then go down, kind of thing. But I feel like with National League teams, and we've seen it in recent seasons, they don't get relegated straight away. They can sustain themselves. And look at Bromley now, for instance. Bromley are doing phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You've got Oldham just outside of playoffs. You've got Barnet as well, just outside of playoffs. You've got your Notts Counties, your Chesterfields, exactly.
Stockport going up, potentially going up again. Lincoln City going up again.
100%.
No team has ever gone straight back down since they introduced it. What was it, 57, 59 teams, something like that? No one has ever gone up and come straight back down. Sutton did like a couple of years. Forest Green went up for very long, but no team has ever gone up and come straight back down.
I bet neither of you want your team to be the sacrificial lamb. And what I mean by that is, weirdly, the argument is going to get stronger if one of you, the one who doesn't win on Saturday or the one who doesn't win the title, if you then don't progress through the playoffs, it's actually going to create a stronger argument.
Yep.
Because what happened with Wrexham and Notts County when Notts County on 100 and whatever points won the playoffs, the argument died quite quickly, didn't it?
York City last year, 96 points, didn't go up, 96 points wins you this league most times. And people started talking, what about 3 up, 3 down? We even wrote that letter and people were like, haha, you're pathetic. You wrote a letter like asking for 3 up, 3 down because you didn't win the playoffs. If we do it with, I think we're on 200 points over the last 2 years, it would just scream it. But I can tell we'd finally get up and then we'd be the first 3rd team to go down because it's how football works.
I've just got a massive feeling, though, me, if we don't go out, even though we are obviously, we have to win, I've just got a massive feeling if we don't do it and straight away go up as champions, I don't think we'll go up in playoffs, if I'm being quite honest. I think we're running on fumes. I think we'll be mentally drained. And I just have a feeling as well that, and I don't want to think negative, I really, really don't, because we've done amazing. But I think this will really, really, really impact us. I think there's more chance, personally, of York getting through playoffs than us, because I think after last season as well, and just the way I think our players, like I said, are just really, really running on fumes now. You can see it. They're dragging it and they're trying the best, but it's not like we were at the start of the season. We were absolutely amazing and we're just getting through games now, but I don't think that'll happen with the playoffs because you've got the likes of Southend there, you've got the likes of Boreham Wood, and I know we've beat them this season. I think we've beat all of them this season apart from Scunthorpe. Apart from Scunthorpe, who we've dropped points to. But yeah, I just genuinely think if we don't get promoted on Saturday, we will not do it through playoffs.
I agree.
I don't want to be negative.
I agree.
I don't want to be negative at all.
I agree with you. And you're saying that you personally, you can't cope with the playoffs, but your team can, mate. And if they need to, they will.
I'm hoping you're right. In the 73rd minute of the weekend, we took off Jeff King, Ollie Banks and Josh Stones. We then took off Hiram Boateng a few minutes later and then Zach Johnson a few minutes after that. We were able to rest players. We've conceded once in our last 5 games since Gateshead beat us. I think there is that mentality. I'm really hoping it doesn't kick us too much if we don't do it. But just, we're all humans. Like, I know we talk about these players and we put them on pedestals because we all love them and the goals they score and what they do to us emotionally. But they're all human. I can't imagine if I was on that pitch and you lose a game, it means you lose the title. I wouldn't be able to go a few days later and then have to pick myself up and win another must-win game. Like, they're all human beings. I know they're professional footballers for a reason, but I don't know how you cope with the emotions of that as a footballer.
I think especially as well, have to watch the other team that wins, watch them lift that title.
Oh yeah, on the pitch, yeah.
I think that's what's going to hit him. I think more whoever, obviously, comes on the wrong side of it. That's the thing I look at, because if it was at another stadium, you could probably get your head around it. The manager would probably turn your attention away from it very quickly. When you have to watch that trophy presentation, almost, it'd be the hardest thing I think any to come out. Like, say, mentally in a season where teams have been, the top 2 have been by far better than everyone else in this division. And in the famous words of Steve Pitt, this just isn't right.
It's not right. It's just not right.
It's not, and this should, and obviously, like the argument will obviously come into play again, depending on what happens in the playoffs, really. Because if it isn't what your call, Rochdale to go up, then the argument will be there again. Like, so I think Rob, as soon as Notts County went up, it was like, oh well, they've done it so justice has been served. But people forget in that game that they were 3 minutes away from losing that game. And the goalkeeper made a bad error. He did, Ross Fitzsimmons, and cost him, obviously promotion. And obviously had that gone, not gone in, we'd maybe having a different conversation right now, potentially. But yeah, it is hard. But let's be honest, we're labelling here what probably is the biggest National League game in, I think, the competition's history. I think, everyone talks about Wrexham being knocked out. Was huge. But that was with 2 or 3 games left of the season still to play. This is for literally the winner takes all now. And both teams, like, that's the thing. I think, like, I think if I was either you, Shah, or Morgan, I would probably be feeling physically sick, knowing at the prospect of whoever loses, you're going to have to watch them invade the pitch almost. And I just don't think I'd be able to cope with it mentally. After going through all of that and having to pick yourself up with playoffs with so many teams in there that, have got their own right to win it. Looking at Carlisle, we haven't spoken much about them tonight, but they are still right in that mix. They've achieved 92 points, which maybe any other season would win in the title, but it hasn't. And then Bournemouth as well, nearly at the 90-point mark themselves. It's quite incredible. So I would just like to say, I hope the best team win. And honestly, I'm actually gutted I can't watch the game. I would be if we had a dead rubber game, I'd be having it in the background and paying more attention to that than our own game, because I don't think anyone want to miss it. And obviously everyone said as well, they need to make this free to watch and DAZN. They have to, and I know they won't. But, to get people into non-league football, you won't get a bigger game in non-league football this season anyway. So if they do their part of the DAZN, that'd be brilliant, but I can't expect that.
No, I think it'll only hit me if we don't do it. I think it'll only hit me when we're away to like Tamworth or Eastleigh or one of those like smaller grounds you don't really want to go to. It'll be like, we're still here. Like, I know there's not every League Two game is massively attractive. Like, I'm not going to be licking my lips at the prospect of going to like Cheltenham or like Crewe or some of those other clubs. They're not exactly the biggest clubs in League Two, but still, like, you see the fixtures like, on, I don't know, November the 5th or whatever, we'll be going away to Brackley. Oh, not Brackley have gone down, sorry. Eastleigh, for example. Like, it'll just hit you when you've got to stay in this league for another year and do a full 9 months. I think I'll be quite numb afterwards, and then it'll only hit me in a few months' time.
Quick one on the playoffs, guys. Am I right in thinking last year they were really elongated? It was over like 3 weeks, but it's back over 2, isn't it? Is it straight to the eliminators midweek, straight after the weekend, and then the semi-finals on the weekend and the final the weekend after? Yeah. Merrick made a good point there about Southend. They literally be doing Saturday, Tuesday for ages.
They've been great. They've been great as well.
They've got and the player availability is really, really good. So, Jen, you've been very quiet on this. Have you got any gut feeling about it, about who might prevail in the game?
Honestly, I think it's just going to come down to who's better on the day. Who's been training the right way this week? Who's been using the right fitness, eating well, resting is very important. So making sure you are fully rested when you're at home. Switch off completely from football. I know obviously it's hard as a footballer. It's going to be incredibly hard, but it's like us. We have Sunday, Monday off. Have Rochdale had Sunday, Monday off? Have York had Sunday, Monday off? Or is one off today, one off tomorrow? It's that kind of. You've got to just make sure that you go out onto that pitch on Saturday and just do what you can. There's nothing else.
Leave it all out there, as they say.
Just leave it all out there and may the best team win, in my opinion. I'll be watching it at home. So yeah, I think it'll be a good one to watch as a neutral. But like you said, it should be free on DAZN. I don't pay for it personally, obviously, because Liam gets it for free. But I think it has to be free. There is no way that you should be paying to watch a game like this. In my opinion, it should be on Sky Sports. In my honest opinion, it should be on Sky Sports, ITV, BBC, whoever. But it is behind the paywall, and I think that's where something needs to change, because the amount you pay for DAZN, I pay a lot out every year, and that's not just for football, that's for NFL. And it's insane how much they think they can charge to just watch a sport, and one that is really defying the non-league scene at the minute.
I think Merritt's bang on. Like, the Sky aren't great. They move fixtures and whatever. Like, being on Sky isn't great, but Sky is so much more professional than DAZN.
Yeah.
Like, Shara, I'm sure you'll be able to see it next year as well. Like, if one of us, or if,
Bye
hopefully,
bye,
both
everybody. DAZN, if you're watching, I'll still do work for you.
Yeah.
they've never hired
Come
me,
out
so
to watch.
they've never hired me, so I can slag them off a bit.
Yeah.
But it
No.
just feels. I don't know if you saw it, but I think it was after we beat Tamworth. They put the league table up, and it was last year's league table. Had Barnet and
Yes.
Oldham still there. I'm like, how are you that amateur with it? Like, Sky aren't great, but Jesus Christ, they're far more professional than anything else DAZN has ever done.
Yeah.
Bring back TNT.
Love you,
Sports.
DAZN.
Bring back TNT. Bring back Aaron McLean.
We haven't
Yes.
discussed the other implications of this game. One of the 5 people on this podcast right now won't be here with us next season. Will it be Shah or will it be Morgan? That's the only consolation for me. If Dale don't win, Shah, you'll still be with us next season.
To be fair, I'm already on the EFL one anyway. So if it does happen to be us, I'm on both anyway. So
Should I actually?
no,
Oh, good. I'll stay.
I do both.
You don't get to lose
So
like
if
that,
it's
Morgan.
I know.
I'll still be looking at what Western Supermare and what they're all doing. I'll still be checking.
But yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Ben, Jen, and Rob. And no hard feelings either.
No hard feelings. Flip a coin.
Who do you think is going to win? And no hard feelings whatsoever, because I know a lot of you are going to go with York.
I mean, it's
But
one of them.
I'd rather be underdogs.
It's one of them where you go, my head says York, my heart says Rochdale. I don't know. The only thing that will give me hope that if York were at home, I would have said York hands down, absolutely, done, dusted for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rochdale got the home advantage, albeit York are going to have, 1,600 fans there. That bear in mind when York get behind their players, there can be a right force. But something just feels like it's happening in Rochdale. That's the thing. Like you say, you keep talking about.
Don't do this.
I know. I don't want to give you false
Don't do
hope. But the thing is, you got like 3 late goals in the last month, which has kept you in this race. And something does tell me, and whether it happens or not, because obviously I saw Graham put the comment, Ian Henderson, what a story it would be if he's the one that comes off the bench and scores the winner that gets Rochdale back in the Football League. This is the thing. I'm probably going to be a devil's advocate, and I'm going to probably say Rochdale, just because I think all the the build-up and everything like that has been around, can York finish the job off? And it is too close to call, but I just feel like Rochdale, that's the thing. There won't be as much pressure in them as there will be on York, I think, personally. But again, having, 4,000 fans?
I'm so sorry.
It could be. Who knows?
Having like 4,000
We'll all
fans.
get to see it. If it's that late, we'll all get to see it.
Yeah, I'll be on the coach back by that point.
Liam's watching it on the coach arm and Jim Bentley. Oh, guys, get it on the TV.
I'll go with Dale. I'm gonna
Oh,
back
Ben,
his
don't do this. Don't do this. Jen.
It's hard because I've seen both teams play. And when we played Rochdale, I've said it countless times now, but I was going into that game expecting to get battered. And I mean battered. I was like, right, that's it. 6-0 down by half time. I'm just going to have a great time. That's it. But when he and Henderson came on and scored the absolute world I was just like, I turned to Liam because he was in the gantry. He wasn't in the press box. And I just looked at him and I was just like, he is unreal. Like, there's no player like him. And I think for me, he, like Ben said, I think he's going to come off the bench and he's going to score to get you back into the Football League. I think that world he scored against us, like, I just think, for me, I think it's going to be Rochdale. I just think it's their time. They've struggled a lot behind the scenes. But
I feel sick. I might have to go and throw up.
I think for me,
it's not been to the 16 yet.
Yeah, I think for me it has to be. I think for me it has to be Rochdale, purely because, not just because it's where I'm originally from, but also because it was a club that my auntie supported before she died. So it's that sentimental feeling as well. But I just think Rochdale have shown up time and time again this season, and they've just not given up. And I think I think it is going to go Rochdale's way. I think it is going to be a late Ian Henderson goal. I just think somehow, some way, he's going to do it.
Just want to quickly point out as well.
Go on, sorry.
Whoever doesn't win this game, and obviously whoever finishes second, I want them to win the playoffs. There's no, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
I'd like to think we're all on the same page. Like even if it's Rochdale, watch Rochdale win playoffs. If it's York wins playoffs. It's only right, in terms of the sport, in terms of them to have been by far better than everyone else. That's what I'm gonna say. So there's no hard feelings to obviously York in that, but obviously because that's if they do finish second, I want them to win the playoffs.
Rob.
Thanks, Merritt. Love you too. Love you too, hon. Rob.
I'm not going to sit on the fence. I've got a clear vision of what I think is going to happen.
Clear vision.
Like Ben, head and heart. I mean, listen, I've not sat on the fence in terms of what I want. I've said I want Rochdale to win the league, and that's nothing against York, Morgan. And for what it's worth, the little bit of exploration you've been doing this week, I think you're spot on. I think the one or two of the reasons, the reasons a lot of people are not wanting York to do it. One is jealousy, and two is that your owner, frankly, can be a bit of a prat at times.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. But York as a football club, by the way, especially the 2,500, 3,000 that we're going to Booth and Crescent every week through all those difficult times, and then this is magnificent times for them. And for those people, I'd be really delighted if they do win the league. So, but as for the game itself, I think we're going to be locked level at 1-1. I think our old friend, the late goal, is going to come in. And unlike you two, the other way round, I see it. I think that York, Rochdale, who need the win, are going to be pushing so hard for it. I think York are going to counter around the 90 plus and get a winner and break Rochdale's hearts. I hope that doesn't happen. I want you to do it so badly, Shah, for Rochdale. I really do. But there you go. At least you've got two saying York, Rochdale, and one saying York. Are you actually going to try and predict yourselves, or is that just not possible?
I've just got to go with them. I've got to go with Dale. I cannot back against them. Like, as much as, don't get me wrong, we have to go out there and win. I know what York are capable of. I know York have obviously hurt us before several times. I cannot go in against my football team, especially when they're doing what they've been doing week in, week out. So as much as I think, obviously, York can hurt us, they have hurt us before. I am not backing against my boys. They've done me proud this season. Like, no matter what happens, they have gave 100% week in, week out. And to go toe-to-toe with, obviously, a team like York who are just fantastic. Like, I have so much respect for York. And I going into this game now, like, I should be just backing Dale and stuff, which I am, but just throughout the season, what Maynard has done, like the players, like I come in here week in, week out, I back Ollie Pearson, say how good he is. Josh Stones, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. He's one of my favourite players in the whole of National League. Like, they thoroughly deserve this as well. And like Ben said, like Jen said as well, whoever doesn't go up, automatically I want to get playoffs. And even if that means my club going up, automatically I want York 100% to be the ones coming up with us, because they thoroughly deserve it. And I have the utmost respect for York and the fans. I've had so much banter with the fans this season. And do you know what? This season, I shouldn't have, but I've actually made a lot of York friends. I really, really have.
We're a weird fan base because we can be very... That's Wi-Fi. We're a weird fan base because some people absolutely hate us, but I know we can be incredibly loud, incredibly passionate, and it's a weird place to be a football fan because in terms of geography, you've either got Leeds fans or North Yorkshire doesn't really have anyone. Harrogate have never really been a traditional football league club, so you're going up to Middlesbrough. We've very loud, passionate fan base, and we can be very split. Some people hate us, some people love us. I can't not back this team. I think there's a lot of experience in this team. Ollie Banks, Jeff King, Mark Kitchen are all going to be starting as long as everyone's fit, touch wood. So I think I'll say 2-1 York. I don't really know. I'm hoping we just get it. I don't get how it's done. It can come off, I don't know, Ben Brooks' arse. I don't care. Just get it in the goal.
It counts. Every goal
That's
counts.
the only reason I want York to win is if he scores the winner.
Oh, I love that man. He's so good. He's absolutely brilliant. But no, I just want it done. And honestly, I don't think I'll celebrate or cry no matter what happens. I'll just feel a sense of relief because I'll just be able to breathe and just be like, cool, this season's done. Like, I get to about March in the football season and I just get burnt out. I don't know about you, Charles, with how long this season's been. Obviously, I know, Jen, you have dealt with relegation. Ben, you've had a mental season. Obviously, Rob, you've had 4 seasons in one, as you said earlier. But it's just like, I just get a bit burnt out by it. So I just want this season to be over. I'm hoping we do it, but I'll just be able to breathe. And again, I don't think I'll actually appreciate us going up until I see the fixtures and we're like, okay, we're at Port Vale in the league or Northampton, a team that I don't think we've played in a while. It's like we'll actually be playing some other football clubs rather than being in the National League for a 5th year. So I just want it to be over, to be honest. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I don't like it.
It's a weird one for me, right? Because I feel like, and don't get me wrong, like on yesterday, I was so mentally drained, but part of me is mentally drained because it's like, wow, that's just happened. But then part of me is like, oh, I wish my dad was kind of here, kind of thing, because I'm experiencing it. So I think that's another thing with me where I'm kind of like, I'm absolutely loving it. But then at the downside of it as well, I'm just like, oh, I wish like I was celebrating with my dad. And these kind of moments, I'm like, oh, you know, when you just think, oh, I wish he was here. And that's kind of what's trying to get me through it as well. And part of these, and it sounds stupid as well, like I mentioned the Joey T thing, but that late winner as well, my dad used to always say to me, no matter what you do in life, just never, ever give up. Like, never give up. And I feel like this is a mentality I'm going in with. And as much as I know York can really, really hurt us, part of me is just having that little bit of belief, thinking, oh, maybe my dad was right. Like, never, ever kind of give up on it. And that's what's kind of getting me through it as well. But no, I completely agree. It's mentally draining. But for me, in that aspect, I think that's kind of what's mentally draining me, not being able to celebrate with him, because it's mine and my dad's thing, but it's kind of what's helping me get through it and be more positive about it as well. So yeah,
I mean, we spoke about it. We spoke about, oh, why didn't we apply for a media pass and we could go do like a live version of this? I was like, no, I'm going to be watching it in a pub with my dad. Like I could be watching it in the ground, or I could get one ticket of like being the Rochdale home end or something. Like I could get a ticket there. I was like, no, I'm good. Like if we go up, the first thing I'd do is call my dad. I was waiting for the bus after the game, called him, and he was away. It was my parents' wedding anniversary, and I still like took time. I was like, that was the weirdest game ever. I want to celebrate with my dad, and it's obviously really shit for you that you can't. But it's just, I'm sorry. We've got the
no, it's okay.
It's okay. But it's just like football.
You can raise a glass to him, Shah. You know, win, lose or draw, raise a glass to him. Just know that you went right to the end, and your team did, and they will do.
Sorry.
Obviously, Jen, you've dealt with Liam all year. Like, it can't be easy to see your fiance going through all of that, being so close to a football club that's in such a mess. Like, football's such a personal thing to us all. So
it's literally destroyed him the past couple of months. Like, the last couple of months has probably been the hardest we've dealt with personally. So, yeah. And like you said, it burns you out. Like, it does burn you out. And I've seen it burn out in the past couple of months. So, for me, it's get Forest Green out of the way, book a holiday, and just go. Like, just go away and forget everything that's happened. Because, like me, like Shah, like everyone, we all obviously have struggles behind the scenes that people don't see. Like Ben, he also does the media for Maidstone. There's stuff that people don't know that goes on behind the scenes. It's a lot to deal with, but at the same time, you create memories. Like Saturday, when you stood there and you're talking to the players and you're having a chat with the manager and you're getting a picture with your new favourite player, like it's memories like that will stay with you. And I think even though the past couple of months have been personally the worst couple of months, for me, it's probably been one of them seasons where it's been the best, because I've seen Liam doing what he loves and I've seen him celebrate them massive, like watching them at home. That's still one of the games that I remember. That's our first game back that we absolutely shouldn't have won that game, but somehow we did. And it's them moments that stay with you. And I think whatever happens Saturday for York, for Rochdale, you've just got to look back and think, wow, what a season that was. what a season. And I really, really hope that whoever doesn't go up does go up in the players, because there's no two teams that deserve it more.
Right, well, we will get to the table. Very, very tense for all.
A lot of post offices, Shah.
There's a lot of post office, and I think every post office has been confirmed as well. So every single one of these teams, no matter what happens, they have been confirmed, for the playoffs. So top of the table, we do have York City on 107 points. Rochdale a second on 105 points. Carlisle a third on 92 points. Borehamwood a fourth on 87 points. Scunthorpe a fifth on 82 points. Southend a sixth on 78 points. And Forest Green are seventh, also on 78 points. And of course, in the relegation zone, already confirmed as well, all four teams, we have in 21st, Brackley on 42 points, Morecambe 22nd on 38 points, Braintree 23rd on 36 points, and bottom of the National League, we have Truro, who have 31 points. And we've made it, guys. We have made it. If it's going to change what has happened. Yes, we made it. We have made it. So thank you so much to everybody who has spoke football with us tonight. But of course, as always, in collaboration with NL Fulltime, Rob, where can everybody find yourself and also the amazing podcast? And definitely check out this week's episode as well, because I've listened to it.
Oh yeah, this week's episode is available at NL Fulltime. That's easy for me to say. Whichever podcast platform you go to. We had a good old roundup of the weekend's action. Looked ahead a little bit to what's coming, and I spoke to somebody as well. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention him, Gaz Dean, who's been the skipper at Brackley Town, and he's retiring next week. It was his last home game, and we had a nice little catch up with Gaz, who's been really loyal to Brackley. He's been there 10, 11 years. So, yeah, that one's well worth a listen. And other than that, thanks for having me today. And Shah, thank you very much for the free therapy session we all had tonight.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And this really made me laugh, Merritt. Can always count on you. We don't have that trouble now. We don't have that trouble. That really did make me laugh, though. But, of course, fantastic, Ben, as always, and thank you for leading the National League South segment as well. I do appreciate it. Where can everybody find you? And obviously your socials as well, because I know you have been bringing the TikTok back, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be. I was planning to do it this week, but my footage didn't come to the best quality I hoped for, to be honest. So I might have to get it a miss. But on Twitter, it's Ben Stones FC1. And yeah, I'm going to try and bring back my goalkeeping TikTok. If anyone wants to watch my mishaps every week, it's Ben_1GK if you want to find me.
Jen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you back. We have missed you so much. So much. But where can everybody find you on the socials?
So it's Jen Hunt on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I am getting more out there with my TikTok at the minute. So yeah, appreciate all the love and support that I am getting over there at the minute. It generally means a lot. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
And Morgan, where can everybody find yourself? And obviously you do write some pieces as well, don't you, on York City? So where can they find those as well?
Yeah, on Twitter at _Morgan_Bruce. I'm going to try and do stuff this week because obviously quite a big game. But if I feel too burnt out by all the talk about York City, you might not, but we'll see.
And if anybody does want to follow me, I am SharXREFC. That is on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. My channel as well is Ball and All with Shah on YouTube, and all of those socials I did mention. And if anybody hasn't seen my reaction with the Titanic music, check out the Absolute Football podcast because it is there, that clip. Crazy, madness. But the main ones, we are the Absolute Football podcast, and we do have 4 live shows a week. On a Monday, you can catch us. We are absolutely non-league, and we are in collaboration with NL Fulltime. We cover National League North, National League South, do not worry as well. We will be having, when the season is over, we will be having obviously playoffs, talking about them, previewing them, and also our season reviews as well, like we did last season. So do not worry, we still have content coming out on a Tuesday. Absolutely Premier League with Sam and the team. I am sure they will be talking Wolves relegation. Obviously, Arsenal, will they bottle it? Will they bottle it yet again? I mean, is it nearly, will this be the 4th season in a row they have come second, if that's the case? And obviously Manchester United did pick up a win, so Sam is a very, very happy man, even though he is mostly always happy, to be fair, isn't he? I don't think I've ever seen him angry. We do have Freya and Team Chaos on a Wednesday. They cover all things women's football, WSL, WSL2, internationals as well, if that's happened. And of course, I am back on a Thursday talking all things EFL from the Championship, League One and League Two. So Coventry fans, do not worry, we have got you covered. Come in with your match reports, come in with all your chat too, because it is so nice to see Coventry back in the Premier League. But I just wanted to say, hope everybody has a fantastic week. It's been an absolute pleasure talking football with you. And yes, we will see you on Monday. Bye, everybody.